Celestial Immortal Clan. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 226 Void Thorn. Of course, this was just a cover-up. In fact, his spiritual sense had been staring at the entrance of the gambling stone shop. As long as the insider Chen Sibao came out, Lin Changqing would definitely find him. After talking with the owner of the equipment refining shop for a while, he saw Chen Sibao in his spiritual sense. After he walked 50 or 60 feet, Lin Changqing found an excuse to say goodbye to the owner of the equipment refining shop. At a distance of 80 or 90 feet, he followed him slowly and saw him walking directly towards the residential area. Knowing that he would not leave the market today, Lin Changqing was a little disappointed. However, he continued to follow him until he saw him enter a small courtyard, then entered the room, and activated the restriction on the door. Seeing this, Lin Changqing's heart moved, feeling that if he had been in the market, it would be too risky to take action. However, Lin Changqing had no time to spend with him here, so he had decided to observe for another day or two. If there was no opportunity within 2 days, then Lin Changqing would do it 2 or 3 hours before boarding the ship, which happened to be late at night. After putting on the magic veil, Lin Changqing pierced the restriction on the door, sneaked in, and killed the insider. After waiting for more than an hour and confirming that he would not come out again, Lin Changqing returned to the hotel. The next day, he stayed with Chen Ziyi during the day, drinking tea, chatting and playing, and in the evening, Lin Changqing withdrew again to follow the insider Chen Sibao. He found that he still had no intention of leaving the market, and after watching him nearby for a while, he returned to the hotel. Tomorrow morning, the two of them will set off to the passenger ship landing field outside the market, so there are only a few hours left for Lin Changqing. Therefore, after Lin Changqing returned to the hotel, he began to complete the magic practice for today. After the practice was completed, he laid down to rest directly, 2 or 3 hours earlier than usual. He didn't dare to practice the Thunder Sutra tonight. If he used up all his energy, how could he deal with Chen Sibao later? A few hours passed in a flash, and when Lin Changqing opened his eyes again, it was already the next day's yin time. It was exactly the time, late at night. Lin Changqing got up, packed himself, and then took out a gauze magic weapon and put it on. Lin Changqing disappeared in an instant, and then he quietly walked out of the hotel. The market was quiet, and there were very few pedestrians on the street, only 1 or 2 occasionally. It took a while to successfully find Chen Sibao's yard. Because the restriction of the yard was not opened, Lin Changqing slipped in smoothly. He went directly to the door of Chen Sibao's room, communicated with Lin Changqing with his mind, and then dozens of roots appeared in the void, piercing the restriction on the door. The third level of Void Sky Willow was used to deal with such a small restriction, which was really a waste of talent. However, the effect was also very obvious. Just like a hot knife cutting butter, the restriction on the door was broken silently and neatly. Afterwards, Lin Changqing did not rush to find it, but his spiritual consciousness followed a gate that no longer had restrictions and explored it little by little. Soon the layout inside was explored clearly, and no other defensive means were found. Moreover, Chen Sibao was also found, and he was now resting on the bed. Lin Changqing rapped the door with spiritual energy and gently pushed it open to avoid making a sound to alarm him. He did not dare to stare at him directly. After all, the senses of a cultivator were still very sharp, and slowly moved to his bedside. He hit his cervical vertebrae, and a sound of bones breaking rang out. Moreover, he was knocked out by him, his body and neck twisted into a weird angle, his face was full of surprise, his eyes were wide open, and he looked like he was dying with his eyes open. Lin Changqing was stunned for a moment, then he gave a low laugh and said to him mischievously, "The 4 brothers of the Yang family are waiting for you on the Yellow Spring Road, go and meet them." Lin Changqing did not want to kill him immediately, but he forgot that he was now a physical cultivator. Just now, he hit him with all his strength and broke his cervical vertebrae directly. He was already dead and could not die anymore. He originally wanted to capture him, but now there was no other way. So he could only put his body into the spirit beast bracelet first, and then found his storage bag on the bed. The divine sense swept around the room, and found a small box under a floor tile, which contained 10 medium-grade spirit stones. After that, there was nothing else. The rest were daily necessities and sundries, which had no use to Lin Changqing, so of course he would not take them. After confirming that there was nothing else missing, he left the room and activated the ban on the door again, so that others would not think that he was dead at the first time. If he had not left something like the soul jade in the gambling stone shop, it would take at least a few days for others to confirm his death, and this was the fastest. At that time, Lin Changqing didn't know where he went, and the most likely situation was that others would think that he had something to do and left by himself. All the way back to the hotel room smoothly, the whole process took less than half an hour, smooth without any obstacles. But Lin Changqing was very excited now. After all, it was the first time in his life that he did something like assassination. Moreover, the murder happened in the market managed by Qingyuan sect. This was the strongest provocation to the dignity of Qingyuan sect. Under the double stimulation, Lin Changqing could not calm down for a long time. Sitting in the room, he thought about it from beginning to end, making sure that there was nothing missing, and there was no trace left that could expose himself. The only trace left might be Chen Sibao's body and his things, but it doesn't matter, they can be dealt with now. After checking the room, activating the maze array, and directly entering the inner space, soon Lin Changqing was surrounded by a yo-yo sound. After half a year of getting along, Lu Yaoguang, Lu Xiaomi and their family have established a deep relationship and trust with Lin Changqing. Of course, the main reason is that Lu Yaoqiang's family has set a very good example for them. And Lin Changqing treats them equally in terms of treatment, so there's the current effect. Lin Changqing hasn't come in for several days. He stroked each three-colored ear for a while, and then fed them all with a Yulang pill. Finally, he held Lu Xiaomin in his arms. Every time he saw this little guy, he would be touched by it. If Lin Changqing saw this Lu Xiaomin, she would probably snatch it from Lin Changqing. Fortunately, he had signed a contract with this little guy 3 months ago. Now it is also Lin Changqing's spirit beast, so there is no need to worry about it being snatched away by Lin Changqing. Seeing Lin Changqing holding Lu Xiaomin, Lu Xiaoling came over immediately, and then drilled into Lin Changqing's arms. This happened every time. This was also a game between Lin Changqing and it. After playing with them for a while, they were left to play by themselves. Zhao Liao and Su Miniang were already waiting on the side. Seeing that Lin Changqing was finally free, the two came forward to greet him. Subordinates, meet the master. Lin Changqing nodded. Zhao Liao and Su Miniang changed their self-proclaimed titles. This was Lin Changqing's request. It felt weird to always call themselves little maids, so Lin Changqing asked them to change their titles. He took out a dozen spiritual herbs harvested today from the storage bag and gave them to Zhao Liao, asking her to arrange a suitable place to plant them. Zhao Liao took the spiritual herbs and quickly went down to plant them. Only Su Miniang was left standing in front of Lin Changqing. Lin Changqing was about to ask her to go about her own business, but he didn't expect to see her hesitant to speak. She must have something to say to Lin Changqing. You have been following me for a while. If you have anything to say, just say it directly. There is no need to be so shy, Lin Changqing said directly. Su Miniang then said, yes, Master, I feel that the spiritual energy in the Danshan has been polished to perfection, and it should be possible to try to build a foundation. After that, she kept looking at Lin Changqing. Chapter 227, Rising to the Top. Lin Changqing suddenly realized that it was because of this, so he asked, how many ripe foundation building fruits are there in the space now? Su Miniang quickly replied, we have focused on promoting the birth of a foundation building fruit tree, and now there are 12 ripe foundation building fruits on it. Lin Changqing nodded and said, it's there, take me to see it. Su Miniang quickly responded, and then took him to a fruit tree that was more than 10 feet tall. It was indeed ripe, and it was exactly the same as the 12 foundation building fruits that Lin Changqing had obtained before. He reached out and picked one, put it in a jade box, and handed it to Su Miniang. After thinking about it, he took out a jade slip from the storage bag and gave it to her. He also said, before you start building your foundation, you must read and understand the contents of this jade slip several times and keep it in mind. This is the various matters that need to be paid attention to when you advance to the foundation building stage, which I have compiled based on the records left by my family ancestors and the experience personally taught by several foundation building monks. After you succeed in building your foundation, remember to record your experience in building your foundation and give it to Zhao Liao together with this jade slip. She will need it. Su Miniang was overjoyed. She took the jade box and jade slip handed over by Lin Changqing and bowed to Lin Changqing very respectfully. She said solemnly, "Thank you for your help, my master. I will work hard to cultivate and repay you in the future." Lin Changqing nodded. "Don't have too much psychological pressure. There are plenty of foundation building fruits. I can pile you up to the foundation building stage." Su Miniang choked up when she heard Lin Changqing's words of comfort. She hadn't heard such words for a long time since her father left. She couldn't speak for a while and could only nod vigorously. Lin Changqing didn't care about her anymore. As the master, he had given her the resources and comforted her. The rest depended on her own efforts. When he came to the edge of the pit, he threw Chen Sibao's body in. After thinking for a while, he threw the 3 raw stones he bought in the gambling stone shop today. The last time he sent resources to Lin Changqing was half a year ago. At that time, he poured about 50,000 medium-grade spirit stones and 3 high-grade spirit stones into the pit. That time, a total of about 700 acres of land were added, so now the area of the inner space is about 6,500 acres. However, it is still far from the goal of 250,000 acres for Lin Changqing to advance to the 4th level. Now Lin Changqing's wealth is only 3 top-grade spirit stones, more than 1,000 high-grade spirit stones, and 200,000 low-grade spirit stones. Even if all of them are thrown in for Lin Changqing to absorb, it will only increase about 1,400 acres, and it can't even break through 10,000 acres. And some of the top-grade spiritual stones should be left to activate the intercontinental super teleportation array, so Lin Changqing felt that these spiritual stones should be kept first just in case. He walked back to the yard and put Chen Sibao's storage bag and the 10 mid-grade spiritual stones in the room where the spoils were placed. Then he found a small jade box and put 100-year-old red fruit in it. This was specially prepared for Xiao Du. He would definitely pass by Qian Mansion this time, and Lin Changqing was going to give this red fruit to him. He was never stingy with people who helped him, and the 100-year-old red fruit was really not a very precious spiritual object to him. He put the small jade box in the storage bag. Zhao Linyu had just come back after planting the spiritual medicine. "Hello, master. I have planted all the spiritual medicines in the right places." Zhao Linyu saw Lin Changqing and said quickly. Lin Changqing nodded and said, "That's good. You should hurry up with your own cultivation. Su Miniang has just told me that the spiritual energy in her danshan has been polished to perfection and she wants to try to build a foundation. I have agreed and gave her a foundation building fruit and a jade slip that records the foundation building experience of the family's ancestors. So you have to hurry up, and during the time when Su Miniang is building a foundation, you will have to work hard. The main thing is to take good care of the spiritual medicines and spiritual plants in the space." Zhao Linai was also surprised to hear what Lin Changqing said. She didn't expect Su Miniang to have already started to prepare for the foundation, which gave her a strong sense of urgency. Now Lin Changqing only has 2 subordinates. If Su Miniang succeeds in building a foundation, she will definitely be more valued by the master, which will make her inferior, which is not what she wants to see. She immediately assured Lin Changqing with a serious face, "Master, please rest assured. I promise to take good care of the spiritual medicines and spiritual plants in the space, and work hard to cultivate, and strive to build a foundation as soon as possible." Lin Changqing nodded fully. When she said this, Lin Changqing was relieved, and then Lin Changqing withdrew from the inner space. Back in the room, looking at the sky outside, he estimated the time and found that there was still more than an hour left, so Lin Changqing simply lay down to rest. When Lin Changqing finished his morning practice and came to the living room, Chen Ziya was already waiting for him there. As soon as she saw him, she said happily, "Brother, you are really amazing. The piece of raw stone you helped me choose yesterday opened a medium-grade water-attributed spiritual stone. If it is cut out, it is estimated that there will be at least about 200 pieces." When Lin Changqing heard this, he couldn't help laughing. "It seems that the 2 of us are lucky. We got our money back with 1 piece. Brother, it seems that you are quite knowledgeable about raw stones. So, next time I want you to help me choose." Chen Ziya blinked her eyes and said to Lin Changqing mischievously. Lin Changqing laughed. "Okay, no problem, but I can't guarantee that I can always bet on the rise. If it fails, don't blame me. And we have to leave quickly, so as not to delay the boarding time, and then we have to wait for several days." Chen Ziya nodded, and then the 2 returned the deposit, and flew directly to the landing field of the passenger ship after leaving the market. About a mile away from the market, Chui and Chur were released. With them, safety is more guaranteed. However, this time the journey was calm, and the two groups of people they met were also heading towards the landing field. Everyone kept a certain distance and lived in peace. When they were about to arrive, Chui and Chur were recalled in advance, so that others would not know that he had a golden winged bird. Until he boarded the ship smoothly, nothing special happened. It seems that Chen Sibao's matter probably passed like this. If no one investigates, the matter will be like this. After a few years, if no one mentions it, no one may remember him. Looking back, it was still a little exciting, but I'd better try not to do this kind of thing in the future. If you always walk by the river, you will get your shoes wet one day. Now the passenger ship has set sail, and the two are in Chen Ziai's room, drinking tea and chatting. By the way, junior sister, do you still remember Xiaodu from Wanbao Pavilion? Lin Changqing remembered a gift he prepared for Xiaodu, and wanted to talk to Chen Ziai first. I remember. What's wrong with him? Chen Ziai was a little surprised, not knowing why Lin Changqing mentioned him. I plan to go to Wanbao Pavilion to see him when I pass by Qian Mansion this time, and give him a small gift by the way. After all, he saved us last time, and it's a bit unreasonable to only give him a few hundred spirit stones. After saying that, he took out a prepared small jade box and handed it to Chen Ziai. Chen Ziai took it, opened it and looked at it, and gave it back to Lin Changqing. This is the 100 years red fruit. It seems that there are quite a lot of good things on senior brother. Give me some when you can, Chen Ziai joked. Lin Changqing smiled proudly and said, of course. I have a lot of good things on me, so you should serve your brother quickly and make him happy. I will give you some, and I guarantee that you will soar into the sky and reach the sky for 90,000 miles. It will be no problem for you to be called a Taoist master, Chen Ziai chuckled and said, I won't be fooled by my senior brother. I dare not even think about becoming a Yuanyingzhenjin or a Huashinzhenjin. I will be satisfied if I can cultivate to the Jinden stage in this lifetime. Lin Changqing smiled and shook his head and said, I gave you the opportunity. If you didn't seize it, it's your problem. It won't be so easy next time. Chen Ziai didn't want to listen to Lin Changqing's nonsense anymore. She remembered that Lin Changqing had come to Qian Mansion to explore by himself last time. He couldn't help but ask, brother, why didn't you visit him when you went to Qian Mansion last time? Last time, the passenger ship arrived at the landing field outside the market, and I flew to Baishan County, and didn't enter the Qian market at all. When I came back, I didn't have a suitable gift. This time I happen to have this 100-year-old red fruit, which is just right for him. Then when the time comes, I will go with you. Lin Changqing nodded, and the matter was settled. Chapter 228 Chen Ziai's Purpose. 5 days passed in a flash. Soon, the passenger ship will arrive at the landing field of Qian Mansion, so Lin Changqing has taken back the small 5-element maze array and the spirit gathering array in the room. Now he's drinking tea at Chen Ziai's place, waiting for the passenger ship to land. Staying with Chen Ziai, it feels that time always passes quickly. When he heard the sound transmission array on the passenger ship, the arrival of the station, and the next passenger ship departure time notification, Lin Changqing had already pulled Chen Ziai and ran to the side of the ship to wait. As soon as the passenger ship landed, the two flew directly to Qian Market. The reason why they were so anxious was that it was already evening. If they didn't hurry up, it would be completely dark, and it would be a bit unsafe at that time. This time, it was also because Chen Ziai said that she would treat Lin Changqing to a spiritual meal that the two hurried so much. Otherwise, according to Lin Changqing's previous practice, he would definitely rest on the passenger ship for one more night, and then enter the market tomorrow morning. This would be the safest way. However, Chen Ziai was so excited, and Lin Changqing didn't want to spoil her fun, so the two of them were in such a hurry. Fortunately, there were Chui, Chur, and others watching them, and there were people walking with them not far behind them. The journey was smooth and they soon entered the market safely. When they got here, they were no longer in a hurry, and this place was not an ordinary existence for them. Not only because they were chased by the foundation building monks here, and then they designed to defeat the Qi family. It was also because Lin Changqing deliberately held Chen Ziai's hand for the first time, which was also regarded as breaking the layer of paper between the two people. Of course, the foundation building monk of the Qi family also helped the two of them a little, although she was holding the intention to kill them both. But she never thought that in the end, it would help Lin Changqing and Chen Ziai. Holding Chen Ziai's hand, The two walked side by side on the street, strolling slowly in the market, and this time it was regarded as a revisit of the old place. They both had a general impression of where there was a spiritual food shop, and walked in that direction tacitly. It didn't take long to find a place, and Lin Changqing led Chen Ziya in directly. He said to the waiter who came up to him, "Help us find a quieter place with a screen partition." The waiter immediately understood that Lin Changqing was talking about that kind of place, and immediately replied, "Yes, 2 guests, please follow me." He took the 2 people to the innermost position, and then quickly moved out the screen and set it up. Then they started to order dishes. Today, Chen Ziya especially invited Lin Changqing to dinner, so she was responsible for ordering dishes. However, the two have been together for so long, of course, she knows what Lin Changqing likes to eat. Basically, 4 dishes and 1 soup are all his favorites. Not long after, the spiritual meal ordered by Chen Ziya was served. The two smelled the fragrance and their appetites were aroused. After smiling at each other, they started eating immediately. Because of the experience last time, the two ate slowly and pricked up their ears to listen, trying to see if they could collect some useful information. Unfortunately, what they heard this time were all about who hunted some spiritual beast there, or who collected some precious spiritual medicine there and sold it to one Bao pavilion for a certain amount of spiritual stones. There was even a sect disciple who succeeded in pursuing a fairy among the casual cultivators, but unfortunately the family did not agree, and in the end both of them disappeared, probably eloped. There were all kinds of messy news, and there were quite a lot of them, but the problem was that none of them were interested. More than an hour later, Chen Ziya paid the spiritual stones, and the two went to the Pinyin Hotel where they had stayed before. Just like before, they opened a 2-room suite. After the shop assistant who led the way left, Chen Ziya began to organize the tea sets and perform tea art for Lin Changqing. She knew that Lin Changqing liked to watch, so this time she put in 12 points of effort. "Brother, please have some tea." Lin Changqing chuckled, took it, tasted it, and said, "Junior sister, I have already drunk the tea. If you have anything to say, just say it directly. You have been holding it in for a whole day. You invited me to eat spiritual food and perform tea art for me. There must be something." Chen Ziya laughed after hearing this, and asked a little embarrassedly, "Is it really so obvious?" Lin Changqing held back his laughter and replied, No. Only someone like me who knows junior sister well enough can notice it." Chen Ziya rolled her eyes at him, and then said, "Brother, what are your plans after returning to Qinghai City?" Lin Changqing suddenly realized that this was the question that Chen Ziya had been holding in for a whole day, embarrassed to ask, but very concerned about. He quickly replied, "Of course, I will quickly find the elders in my family and ask them to come forward and ask for marriage to Senior Chen Jie and my great-grandmother." Chen Ziya blushed after hearing this. But she still suppressed her shyness and said, "No, I'm not asking that. What I want to ask is, are you going back to Jiufeng Mountain, the Lin family's ancestral home, and will you stay there most of the time in the future?" After hearing this, Lin Changqing knew what she was worried about, but returning to Jiufeng Mountain was indeed his plan. Nodding, "Yes, after returning to Senior Chen Jie to hand in the task this time, I will definitely go back to Jiufeng Mountain. After all, I have been out for so long, and other clan members have gone back long ago, and I am the only one who is still outside. Mother and the others must be very worried. So, I must go back no matter what." Chen Ziya also nodded, knowing that what Lin Changqing said was true, and it was also human nature, but she still felt a little disappointed in her heart. Could not help asking, "When will you come to Qinghai City again?" Hearing her ask this, Lin Changqing knew what was going on and couldn't help laughing. In fact, this sentence should be understood like this: "When will you come to see me again?" Chen Ziya could ask this, and the meaning was very straightforward, so Lin Changqing couldn't bear to see her like this, and told her the plan in his mind directly. "This time when I arrived in Qinghai City, I finally saw the prosperity of the world of immortal cultivation. I feel that it is very necessary for the Lin family to open a shop in Qinghai City to sell some spiritual objects produced by the Lin family. At the same time, it can also help the family collect some information, which can be regarded as a window for the Lin family to the outside world. At that time, I will try my best to persuade the clan leader to let me be responsible for running this shop, so, please come and visit more often in the future and take care of it." Hearing Lin Changqing say this, Chen Ziya was really overjoyed, and the smile on her face could no longer be concealed. Anyway, No matter whether Lin Changqing did this for the family or for her, he could stay in Qingyuan City and stay by her side, so what else did she have to worry about? In fact, ever since she boarded the passenger ship back to Qingyuan City, she has been worried about gains and losses. When she arrived at Qingyuan Mansion, a very special place for her, she could no longer hold back. Fortunately, Lin Changqing gave her good news, so she felt relieved. Smiling, she said to Lin Changqing, "Then I will ask my grandmother to help ask if there are any shops with good locations for rent." Lin Changqing thought for a while before speaking. The location doesn't have to be too good, and it doesn't have to be too big, otherwise the Lin family can't afford it. Just find a similar one. Chen Ziya nodded, understanding what Lin Changqing meant. Anyway, no matter what, as long as Lin Changqing stayed in Qingyuan City, she could see him often. Lin Changqing looked at Chen Ziya seriously, and continued, "Junior sister, have you been holding back this question all the way? I think that when we become Taoist companions in the future, we must be together for at least thousands, tens of thousands of years, or even a long time. So, if you have any questions in the future, you can just say them out and ask me directly. Don't hold them in your heart anymore. This is not good for you or me, understand?" Chen Ziya was a little embarrassed, but she also knew that what Lin Changqing said made sense, so she said to Lin Changqing, "Senior brother, I know, I won't do it again in the future." Chapter 229 being followed. Since Chen Ziya had said so, Lin Changqing did not say anything else. Chen Ziya was now enthusiastic and continued to say, "Brother, what are you going to sell in this shop of yours?" Lin Changqing listened, thought for a while and said, "There are quite a lot of monster materials at home, and we also planted a lot of spiritual rice and spiritual rice. There are also some spiritual medicines and spiritual plants, including the spiritual wine brewed by Su Minyang, which can also be sold. This is a bit ordinary, and there is nothing too new. However, let's open the Lin family shop first, and then slowly enrich the variety of goods in the future." Chen Ziya chuckled and said, "Then I will go to find Junior Sister Hu and Junior Sister Zhao to see if they can help." Lin Changqing smiled and said nothing. If Chen Ziya wants to find it, then go find it. The four of them have experienced so much in the Xiang secret realm, and they have a lifelong friendship with each other. It's nothing to help a little within their ability. Besides, Lin Changqing should have told them that he was opening a shop, otherwise, they might blame Lin Changqing for not informing them. After drinking a pot of spiritual tea, the two agreed to go to Wanbao Pavilion together tomorrow, and then went back to rest. It was still the same old routine. He carefully checked the room twice with his spiritual sense. After finding no problems, he also set up the small 5-element maze array. He had just eaten a spiritual meal, and now was the time to transform his energy. It was the most suitable time to practice the Thunder Sutra. After 2.5 hours, the spiritual meal he had eaten was also transformed, and his body energy was also exhausted. Lin Changqing cleaned his body and then went back to the room to rest. The next morning, Lin Changqing finished practicing the 5 Elements Chaos Sutra, and then spent some time feeding all the spirit beasts in the spirit beast bracelet. When he came to the living room, Chen Ziya was already waiting there and had brewed the spiritual tea. "Brother, have some tea." Chen Ziya smiled, and it can be seen that she was in a very good mood today. Seeing her like this, Lin Changqing also laughed, took the spiritual tea and drank it all, then ran over and sat next to Chen Ziya. The two of them drank a pot of spiritual tea for about an hour, and then Lin Changqing took Chen Ziya's hand and left the Pingyuan Hotel and walked towards the Wanbao Pavilion. Now the time was just right. When the two stepped into the Wanbao Pavilion, a waiter immediately came to greet them. Before he could speak, Lin Changqing had already waved his hand and said to him, "Don't bother, we have a familiar store partner, you help us find Xiaodu." The man nodded, bowed, and went to the back to help find Xiaodu. Soon, Xiaodu ran out from the back. Seeing that it was Lin Changqing and the others, Xiaodu was very surprised. As soon as he greeted them, Lin Changqing hurriedly raised his hand to stop him. Xiaodu understood immediately, knowing that the two were low-key and didn't like to show off, and hurriedly took the two to the second floor, a quiet small room, and waited for the maid to serve the spiritual tea and leave the room. Xiaodu smiled and said, "It's been a long time since we last met. Is there anything you need this time?" He and Chen Ziya smiled at each other, and then Lin Changqing said, "I don't need anything this time. I just finished my work and came back to see you. I'll give you this small gift." After that, He took out a small jade box from the storage bag and handed it to Xiaodu. Xiaodu was a little puzzled, but he still took it out of habit and was about to open it to see what was inside. But he was stopped by Lin Changqing, who smiled and said, "It's just a small gift. Thank you for your help last time. When you have time, take a look at it yourself. It should be the most suitable for you now." Hearing Lin Changqing say this, Xiaodu also understood that the two of them came to give him this gift, which touched him very much. They had already given him several hundred spirit stones as a reward, and now they came to give him a gift, although they didn't know what it was. But knowing that it would not be an ordinary spiritual object, otherwise it would not be worth it, the two of them professionally delivered it and hurriedly thanked the two again and again. Then the three of them began to chat. Lin Changqing and the other talked about some of their experiences on the journey and some local customs, while Xiaodu introduced some rules of Wanbao Pavilion to Lin Changqing and the other two. After listening to his introduction, the two finally understood the power of Wanbao Pavilion and had a little understanding of its structure. Shop assistants like Xiaodu are also divided into levels, and there are even clear and obvious promotion paths. Xiaodu is now a third-level assistant, and the annual sales task amount is about 300,000 low-grade spiritual stones. On average, it is about 25,000 tasks per month. If it is not completed, the treatment for the next month will be halved. But if the total sales can reach 300,000 in a whole year, these treatments will be returned. Even the part that is exceeded will be given a certain reward. If the sales task is completed for 3 consecutive years, it can be promoted to the next level, and the treatment will of course be increased accordingly. However, if the sales task is not completed for 2 consecutive years, it will be demoted, and the treatment will naturally be reduced accordingly. The highest level that can be promoted is the 9th level assistant, and if the sales task is completed for 3 consecutive years, then the manager can be promoted to the manager, managing all the affairs of the Wanbao Pavilion in the market. Of course, the salary will be higher at this time. As for how the manager is promoted later, Xiaodu did not say anything. It is estimated that he is not at the right level and does not know it very clearly. After hearing this, Lin Changqing and the others realized that the pressure of working in the Wanbao Pavilion is still so great, and they can't help but admire them. After hearing how Xiaodu and the others operated and knowing that he needed to complete the sales task, Lin Changqing specially checked the storage bag and found that after 6 or 7 months of consumption, the Yuling pill was almost used up. So he decided to help Xiaodu again and said to him, "Do you have Yuling pills for sale here? Give me some if you have time." Xiaodu also understood that this was Lin Changqing's help. He quickly replied, "Of course there are. A bottle of first-grade upper-grade soul cultivating pills has a total of 10 pills, which originally cost 50 lower-grade spirit stones per bottle. Now it only costs 48 lower-grade spirit stones to sell it to you too. This is the cheapest price I can offer." Lin Changqing nodded, knowing that this was Xiaodu's way of returning the favor. After discussing with Chen Zilia, he said to him, "We need a lot of soul cultivating pills, so give us 120 bottles. Xiaodu was shocked, but he quickly reacted and quickly agreed, then went down to prepare the soul cultivating pills needed by the two. Because the quantity required was not small, it took some time for Xiaodu to collect all the soul cultivating pills, put them all in a storage bag, and brought them back. He handed the storage bag directly to Lin Changqing, checked a few bottles casually, and confirmed that there was no problem. Lin Changqing handed over 5,760 lower-grade spirit stones and his VIP card to Xiaodu. He used a secret method to record the amount of spirit stones consumed this time on the VIP card, and the transaction was completed. Lin Changqing collected 100 bottles of nurturing spirit pills and put them in his storage bag. He gave the rest to Chen Zilia, who also had a purple electric marten to raise, and she had consumed a lot of nurturing spirit pills in the past 7 or 8 months. Afterwards, the two said goodbye to Xiaodu, refused his farewell, and left in a low-key manner. Lin Changqing took Chen Ziya's hand, and the two of them strolled slowly on the street. In fact, they were both using their spiritual sense to detect you if anyone was following them. After all, it was normal for others to follow them after coming out of the Wanbao Pavilion. This time, they really found 2 people who had been following them, and they were using shortcuts and cross-tracking methods to stare at them. If it weren't for Lin Changqing and his powerful spiritual sense, they might not have found them. After telling Chen Ziya about being followed, she wanted to get rid of the 2 monks who were following her by going through the streets and alleys of the market, but was stopped by Lin Changqing. The main reason was that they saw that they were taking shortcuts to follow Lin Changqing and his friends, so they knew that the two monks who were following them were particularly familiar with the terrain and Qian market, so they probably couldn't get rid of them in the market. Maybe, if they were in some remote place, they would find an opportunity to attack. Although Lin Changqing was not afraid of fighting, if they fought in the market, it would be very likely to delay their journey. This was not what Lin Changqing wanted to see. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 230 The Hunter and the Hunted. This method was no longer an ordinary robbery cultivator. Lin Changqing's first reaction was that the two people who were following him were related to the Qi family. So he simply did not move, and stood still with Chen Ziya, and then stared at the two people who were following him. This move was too sudden, and the two people who were following him were stunned. It was the first time they encountered such a situation, and they could not react all of a sudden, and their movements were unnatural. Lin Changqing and the other person did not move, each staring at a cultivator who was following them. Soon, the guards around them also noticed the abnormality of the two people, and followed their eyes and fell on the two people who were following them. This time, the two people who were following them could no longer stay. After looking at each other, they immediately separated and went directly into the crowd and disappeared quickly. However, although they could not see them, Lin Changqing's consciousness was always staring at them. One of them was 100 feet away in a straight line, which was already the standard for a cultivator in the foundation building period. He controlled the distance to about 80 feet, and followed him slowly from a distance. The cultivator who was following them went around the streets and alleys in the market 2 or 3 times. He was really very cautious, and finally entered the residential area, a very corner, a very remote yard. He took Chen Ziya and hid behind a house 70 or 80 feet away. Chen Ziya's spiritual sense, even in the Jiang secret realm, was only 50 or 60 feet. It was still much worse than Lin Changqing. Now Chen Ziya was looking at Lin Changqing with surprise. She knew that the monk who followed them entered that yard, and was at least 80 feet away from where they were now. She estimated that Lin Changqing's spiritual sense was at least 90 feet, or even 100 feet. The strength of this spiritual sense was almost twice that of hers. Now she looked at Lin Changqing with admiration. Lin Changqing also noticed the sparkling eyes that Chen Ziya looked at him, but he didn't have time to care about what she was thinking now. Because another monk who followed them also came over and also entered the small yard. The two adjusted their positions again and got closer so that Chen Ziya's spiritual sense could also scan the yard. Soon, in about a cup of tea, 5 monks came out of the yard. Lin Changqing thought about it and said to Chen Ziya, "Junior sister, you stay here and continue to observe. After an hour, if you don't find anything else, go back to the hotel where we live and wait for me. If you find anything, you can only follow them from a distance in the market, and you are absolutely not allowed to follow them out of the market. Do you understand?" Chen Ziya nodded seriously and said, "I understand. I promise I will never leave the market." "Brother, you want to follow them, right? You should also pay attention to your own safety. If it is too dangerous, don't go. We will find a way when you come back." Lin Changqing nodded in response, and after hugging Chen Ziya, he didn't say anything else. Then he continued to stare at them with his spiritual sense, and began to follow them slowly. Unexpectedly, they went straight to the exit of the market town. After they left the market town, Lin Changqing thought about it and decided to follow them to have a look. After estimating that they should have flown for a few miles, Lin Changqing also left the market town. Now those cultivators had long been out of the range of his spiritual sense, but it didn't matter. About a mile out of the market town, Lin Changqing released Chuai and Chuer, and soon received the news from Chuai that the flying direction of the 5 people was exactly the direction of the takeoff and landing field. Lin Changqing also immediately flew in this direction, and not long after, Chuai sent the news that they landed in the woods. In this way, Lin Changqing knew their plan. They should want to ambush them on the road that Lin Changqing and the others must pass tomorrow. Lin Changqing smiled secretly in his heart. Now it depends on who will ambush whom. He suppressed the sword light and immediately landed. He took out the light gauze magic weapon, covered his body, and then moved towards the direction of the woods. With his full consciousness, he soon found them in the middle of the woods. Several people were setting up a magic circle, which should be a hidden magic circle or something like that. He couldn't let them complete the magic circle. He raised his hand and released the purple crystal scorpion group. The distance of dozens of feet, the little guy soon reached the predetermined position. Not daring to delay time, Lin Changqing's mind moved, and 5 purple crystal scorpions attacked at the same time. 5 extremely shrill screams rang out, and the intervals were very short. Lin Changqing rushed over immediately and saw that the 5 people had fallen to the ground and twitched violently. He immediately took off their storage bags and spirit beast bags. In total, he harvested 5 storage bags and 2 spirit beast bags, and tied them all up tightly. For safety reasons, he searched them all, but he didn't expect that he didn't find anything else, but he did tear off 5 hidden spirit masks. Without the masks, 5 painful and hideous faces were revealed. All of them were middle-aged monks in their 40s or 50s. Lin Changqing carefully identified them, but he didn't recognize any of them, and he didn't have any impression of them. But it didn't matter. He would go back and clean up the mess and he would know what was going on. After putting the few people separately into the Spirit Beast bracelet, he also took back the array plate and the 24 array flags they had just set up. The array plate was a good thing and couldn't be wasted here. Fortunately, I saw the location where they had set up, and the array was not activated, otherwise I would have to ask Chen Zai to come and deal with it. After putting away the spoils and the 5 hidden spirit masks, the spiritual sense scanned the surroundings of the scene twice. After confirming that there was nothing missing, he left the woods and returned to the market. Because the whole process took a very short time, less than an hour. So Lin Changqing didn't go back to the hotel directly, but went to the small courtyard just now and found Chen Zai. Seeing Lin Changqing appear, Chen Zai hurriedly asked, "Brother, why did you come back so soon? How are those people?" Lin Changqing couldn't help laughing, and said with a slightly proud look, "Of course not a single one is left out, all of them fell into my hands. They left the market and set up a magic circle in the woods leading to the landing field. I guess they wanted to ambush us tomorrow. But I caught them all when they set up the formation. All 5 of them are here." After speaking, he raised his hand and shook it in front of Chen Zai. Although Chen Zai didn't see anything, she knew that Lin Changqing's Sanbao Spirit Beast bracelet was on this hand. However, this is not the point. Chen Zai frowned when she heard that Lin Changqing followed them out of the market alone. Finally, she couldn't help but asked, "Brother, didn't you forbid me to follow you out of the market? Why did you go out and take risks alone?" Hearing Chen Zai's questioning, Lin Changqing knew that she was concerned about him, and could only laugh awkwardly. He quickly explained, "Don't worry, junior sister, I am absolutely sure that I will follow them out. Besides, I didn't go there myself. I sent the purple crystal scorpion out to deal with them, and then I was responsible for cleaning up the battlefield. Don't worry, it's okay. I'm back now." After listening to Lin Changqing's explanation, Chen Zai's face looked a little better. Lin Changqing didn't dare to continue to dwell on this issue, and quickly changed the subject. He asked, "Junior sister, how are you doing here? Have you found anything after watching for so long?" Chen Zai was still a little angry, but still answered him, "No, nothing. Since those 5 people left, no one has come here, and no one has come out." Lin Changqing also heard her little emotions, knowing that she was blaming herself for not paying attention to safety. He felt warm in his heart and couldn't help but hug her. Chen Zai must be cherished like this. After hugging for a while, when both of them were calm, Lin Changqing took another look at the small yard. He said to Chen Zai, "There should be no one in that yard. Anyway, those 5 people have been captured alive by me. We can find out what's going on after we go back and ask. We don't need to keep an eye on this place anymore. Let's not go anywhere else for now. Let's go back to the hotel." Chen Zai nodded. They had agreed last night that after visiting Xiaodu at Wanbao Pavilion, they would go to the gambling stone shop and the street stalls square. Now they definitely can't go. They encountered this incident right after coming out of Wanbao Pavilion, and it's been 2 or 3 hours now. They will have to interrogate the monks who follow them later. It will probably be evening at least after they finish the work. They definitely can't go today. Chapter 231. Is it really a coincidence? Lin Changqing held Chen Zai's hand, and the 2 of them deliberately strolled around slowly, just to see if anyone was following them. Fortunately, nothing was found this time, and then the 2 returned to the Pinyin Hotel. After Lin Changqing activated the ban on the door, Chen Ziya had already started to work in the living room. She was setting up a magic circle that could be soundproof and soul-proof. She knew that Lin Changqing would definitely use the purple crystal scorpion to interrogate the captives. It was estimated that the sound would be very loud in a while, so she chose a magic circle that was specifically soundproof and soul-proof. When Lin Changqing saw Chen Ziya setting up the formation, he couldn't help but smile knowingly. The two of them were getting more and more tacit. As they got along more, Chen Ziya also understood what Lin Changqing needed. In just a short while, the magic circle was set up. Chen Ziya pulled Lin Changqing to the center of the magic circle, and then activated the magic circle with a spell. She said to Lin Changqing, "Brother, this is the hidden spirit breathing array. Its function is to block the fluctuation of spiritual energy and the transmission of sound. I think this should meet the needs of brother." Lin Changqing laughed and couldn't help but praise, "Junior sister is really smart and understands what brother needs at once. Junior sister must be the best gift from God to me." Chen Ziya rolled her eyes at him, knowing that Lin Changqing said such words to please her because of what she was angry about just now. "Brother, I'm not angry anymore. There's no need to say nice things to coax me. Let's hurry up and release one first to ask what's going on." Lin Changqing was not embarrassed after being discovered. He laughed dryly a few times and covered it up. After thinking about it, he released 24 purple crystal scorpions first, hiding them around. This was to be prepared for any eventuality, and they would be needed when interrogating later. Then, he released another monk who had been following them in the morning. There were a total of 2 people following them. When these 2 were captured, Lin Changqing paid special attention to them and specially memorized their appearances, so he would definitely not make a mistake. The environment suddenly changed, and when the man came out, he was still a little confused, but he quickly adapted. And the damage from the sting of the purple crystal scorpion seemed to have recovered. Lin Changqing would not be polite to those who were plotting against him. He said directly with a blank expression, "Listen carefully, I will only say it once, and you should answer whatever I ask honestly. If you don't want to say it, or if you say it wrong, then I can only ask you to taste the extremely painful taste again. Ordinary key refining cultivators or first-level monsters can only withstand such damage 3 times. You still have 2 times. Do you want to taste it again? Think about it carefully." The middle-aged robber cultivator heard such words as soon as he came out. Thinking of the painful feeling, his body couldn't help but tremble. That kind of pain, even for an old hand who has been in the world of immortal cultivation for decades, he doesn't want to experience it again. He quickly said, "Ask me. I will tell you everything I know. I know that when a robber is captured, he will definitely not survive, but before he dies, he does not want to experience that kind of pain again." Lin Changqing nodded, "It's best that you have this understanding, it will save trouble for both of us. What's your name, who are you, and who sent you to follow us?" The man didn't hesitate and said directly, "My name is Guo Dage, and the 5 of us form a monster hunting team. It's the kind of monster hunting team that usually goes into the mountains to hunt monsters. If the money is tight, they will occasionally find a place to do a job. As for following you, it's because I saw you just coming out of the Wanbao pavilion, and you look young, but you have an extraordinary temperament. So I judged that there must be a lot of spirit stones or spiritual objects of relatively high value in your storage bags. So I chose you as the target of this action, and no one sent us here." Lin Changqing couldn't help sneering after hearing this, and said to him coldly, "Are you sure, that's it?" Guo Dage nodded and said, "Yes, that's right. I told the truth." Lin Changqing was too lazy to listen to his nonsense. With a thought, a purple crystal scorpion appeared and quickly crawled towards the base of Guo Dage's thigh. Guo Dage saw the purple crystal scorpion and knew that something was wrong. He shouted loudly, "I told the truth. Why are you torturing me?" Lin Changqing didn't talk to him. He just sneered a few times. The long purple crystal needle on the tail of the little guy stung Guo Dage's thigh. Guo Dage let out a scream that was extremely sharp. If others were not prepared and the distance was so close, their eardrums would have been pierced. After the scream, Guo Dage's whole body was like a shrimp. He jumped on the ground a few times, sweating all over his body, and then opened his mouth to breathe desperately. Fortunately, Lin Changqing and Chen Ziya were both experienced. When the purple crystal scorpion was about to sting him, they covered their ears. After waiting for a long time, Guo Dage finally came to his senses. He stared at them fiercely and asked in a hoarse voice, "Why? I have told you the truth. Why are you torturing me?" Lin Changqing looked at him coldly, and finally said, "You are so familiar with the terrain of the market town, you must have explored it in advance. After we found out, you immediately set up an ambush on the road we must pass, obviously coming for us. Now you tell me that you saw us coming out of the Wanbao pavilion and felt like fat sheep. Do you think we are fools?" Guo Daga knew where the problem was, and explained with a wry smile, "So it was because of this, it was really a misunderstanding. We have lived in this market town for more than 10 years. It is normal to be familiar with the terrain. Moreover, we often look for targets in the market town, so we must be familiar with the terrain. As for leaving the market town to set up the formation, it was because my eldest brother said that he was found out today, and it is not suitable to stay in the market town during this period of time. That's why we will leave the market town and prepare to set up an ambush on the monks passing by. After doing this, we will find a place to hide and practice for a while before coming out. We really don't intend to ambush you. Besides, we have been discovered following you. You must have been much more vigilant during this period. If we ambush you again, the possibility of success will not be high." Lin Changqing and Chen Ziya looked at each other in bewilderment after hearing Guo Daga's explanation. Could it be that all this was just a coincidence? The luck of those two was too bad. They didn't show any wealth this time, but they still encountered this. After thinking for a while, he said to Guo Daga, "It would be best if what you said is true. There are 5 of you. If someone says something different from what you said, I will let my spirit scorpion play with you for a while before sending you on your way." Guo Daga nodded half deadly. "You are about to die. Who wants to suffer so much?" "I didn't intend to lie to you." Lin Changqing had actually asked almost everything, but he adhered to his usual philosophy and the principle of squeezing oil out of waste. He started to deceive her. "Since you are quite cooperative, as long as you take out 20,000 spirit stones, you can redeem your life here. Of course, if you don't have spirit stones, you can also use skills, secrets, or valuable information. I will give you a fair estimate of the value. But don't talk about the things in your storage bag. They are my spoils of war, and they all belong to me. Also, it's just to redeem a life. I must destroy your cultivation. I can't leave any trouble for myself. I'll make this clear to you first." When Guo Daga heard that he could redeem his life, he thought he had a glimmer of hope. But when he heard that it would take 20,000 spirit stones, or skills or information worth 20,000 spirit stones, he despaired again, because he didn't have any. Chapter 232 Chen Ziya's Analysis. So Guo Daga could only think desperately, even recalling all his memories from childhood to adulthood. He hoped to find something that could redeem his life, or some information or something. But in the end, he could only shake his head helplessly at Lin Changqing, indicating that he did not meet the conditions that Lin Changqing had just mentioned. Seeing this, Lin Changqing wanted to send him to death directly, as there was no value at all. However, considering that Chen Ziya was also here, he did not act immediately. He just couldn't help but roll his eyes, wasting his words, and directly knocked Guo Daga unconscious and put him back into the spirit beast bracelet. He was not in a hurry to release the next robbery cultivator, but looked at Chen Ziya and said, "Junior sister, what do you think of what Guo Daga said just now?" Chen Ziya thought about it for a while before saying, "I think what he said just now should be true, and the possibility of coincidence is relatively large. I know you suspect that it was the Qi family who made the move, but I really can't think of any reason for the Qi family to trouble us again. Senior brother, have you ever thought that if we really have an accident in Qian Mansion, whether it is the Qi family or not, they will definitely be in big trouble, so the possibility of them is actually the smallest?" After listening to her analysis, Lin Changqing had to admit that what Chen Ziya said made sense. This time it might really be that he overreacted. Lin Changqing pondered for a moment, and still said, "Then let's interrogate a few more, or continue to verify, so that I can feel at ease. After all, it's better to be safe than sorry." After that, he raised his hand and released another robbery cultivator who was following them. The face of this person was somewhat similar to Guo Daga. Lin Changqing guessed that this was Guo Daga's elder brother, but he didn't care about this now. He just wanted to know whether there were any members of the Qi family involved. When he first came out, although it was a bit inappropriate, his reaction was much faster than Guo Daga. However, after seeing the situation around him clearly, he sighed, knowing that this time he would definitely be in danger of death. When he was following the 2 people in front of him, he felt bad and was discovered by them on the spot. He knew that this time he had kicked the iron plate. They were so far away that they could still be discovered. They were either seniors who pretended to be pigs and ate tigers, or they were people with strong spiritual consciousness and extraordinary talents. Such people were the most difficult to deal with. Therefore, he immediately gave up his goal and turned around and ran. He originally thought that he would leave alone and run far away. However, he was worried about his younger brother Guo Dage, and wanted to take him away with him in the hope of luck. Unexpectedly, he still couldn't run away in the end. At this time, Lin Changqing's emotionless voice rang out, "What's your name? Why are you following us? Think it over before answering. There are 5 of you. If one of you says something different, you will experience that kind of extremely painful punishment every day in the future. I just experienced it not long ago. I believe you haven't forgotten it." The robber cultivator glanced at them and said, "My name is Guo Dafu. If I fall into your hands, will you not let us go in the end no matter what? Since we are all destined to die, what's the point of me saying it or not?" After listening to what Guo Dafu said, Lin Changqing sneered, knowing that he wanted to bargain for a glimmer of hope, but unfortunately Lin Changqing would not indulge him. He was in no mood to waste words with him. With a thought, a purple crystal scorpion pounced on the root of his thigh. Then, no matter how Guo Dafu screamed and yelled, the purple crystal scorpion still stung him. After a sharp and shrill scream, Guo Dafu arched his body, fell down again, and then opened his mouth to breathe desperately like a fish out of water. Lin Changqing and Chen Ziyi smiled at each other, and then both put down their hands that were covering their ears. When Guo Dafu recovered completely, Lin Changqing spoke again. "Guo Daga is your brother, right? He has told you everything. If you don't say it or say it differently, then I will send you 2 brothers on your way immediately. I'll ask you one last time, why did you follow us? And after we found out, you ran to the road we had to pass and set up an ambush. Who instructed you to do this?" Seeing Lin Changqing's tough attitude, Guo Dafu knew that he had to say it, otherwise he would probably be killed immediately. Then he said, "We are near the Wanbao Pavilion, looking for a suitable target. You are the fat sheep we chose, so we followed you. After being discovered by you, I was worried that you would report it to the Qinghai sex market steward, so I felt that it was not suitable for me to stay in the market for the time being, and I planned to hide somewhere else for a while. The reason why we set an ambush in that place was because someone in the team suggested that we do something and then leave. In the end, we chose the only way to the landing field, where there are often suitable targets for us to attack. We didn't intend to ambush you specifically." Lin Changqing and Chen Ziyi looked at each other again, and then Chen Ziyi asked, "Why do you think we are fat sheep?" Guo Dafu glanced at her and said, "Going in and out of the Wanbao Pavilion early in the morning, and bringing a Taoist partner with him, it is obvious that something is going on. Whether it is buying things or selling spiritual objects, there must be goods in the storage bag." The 2 were stunned when they heard it. It turned out that everyone has their own specialties. After many robbery repairs, they naturally have a set of methods to judge fat sheep. But it seems that they must have done it many times, otherwise they would not have such rich experience, so in their hearts, Lin Changqing has sentenced them to death. After knocking Guo Dafu unconscious, the team returned to the spirit beast bracelet, and then the other 3 robbery cultivators were released and interrogated. No, the 3 knew even less. They only knew that the Guo brothers followed a fat sheep and were discovered. Then a few people decided to go somewhere else to avoid the limelight, and they didn't know anything else. After interrogating 5 people, the results were similar, so Lin Changqing and the others were relieved. After taking everyone back to the spirit beast bracelet, Chen Ziyi closed the magic circle. The 2 sat in the living room, drinking the spirit tea brewed by Chen Ziyi. "Brother, you should be relieved this time," Chen Ziyi chuckled. Lin Changqing nodded and said, "It just ruled out the possibility of the Qi family's action, but you should be more cautious when you go out. I haven't had children with you yet. I can't die like this." The first 2 sentences were quite serious, but he teased Chen Ziyi in the latter part, causing her face to blush again, and then glared at Lin Changqing fiercely. Lin Changqing laughed and then took out 5 storage bags from his arms. As for the 2 spirit beast bags, he thought about it and didn't take them out, because their owners were not dead yet, so it was useless to look at them. When Chen Ziyi saw Lin Changqing take out 5 storage bags, she knew what to do, and directly reached out and took 2 to help with the sacrifice. Then he poured all the things on the ground, and soon all the things in the 5 storage bags were poured out. Then the 2 people began to sort them out by category. There were not many things, So they were sorted out quickly. There were more than 2,000 low-grade spirit stones, and not a single medium-grade spirit stone. There are more than 30 bottles of elixirs, but they are all common and commonly used elixirs, nothing surprising, and there is no surprise at all. There are more magic weapons, and the offensive and defensive magic weapons add up to 28 pieces, and all of them are relatively refined and high-quality magic weapons, and even top-grade magic weapons. They should have selected the better ones for their own use after the robbery. On average, each person has 5 to 6 pieces. Some of them look good to Lin Changqing, but after thinking about it, he still dare not use them. These things are obviously stolen goods. If you take them and use them yourself, if you are unlucky and meet the relatives or friends of the victim, they will be recognized, and you will not be able to deal with it. So it is better to collect them first, and then give them to junior sister who together with the magic weapons you have obtained before. Ask her to help change their appearance or sell them directly through their channels. Chapter 233 Talisman Maker and Inheritance. There were quite a few talismans harvested this time. They were scattered and gathered together. After counting, there were about 120 of them, both for attack and defense. There was also a talisman pen. Lin Changqing deliberately felt the spiritual pressure and confirmed that it was a top-grade magic weapon talisman pen. There were also some special materials for making talismans, and 30 to 40 talisman papers were found. Seeing these things, Lin Changqing was overjoyed. He knew that one of the 5 people should be a talisman maker. He just didn't know if he could find a talisman maker inheritance of the 2nd level or above here. Lin Changqing was just about to open a small shop in the Qingyuan city market, and now he has harvested a talisman maker. This is really a very good sign. Wait a minute, I must look carefully to see if there is a talisman maker inheritance of the 2nd level or above. If there is, I will give it to my mother, and she will definitely be very happy. After all, she is the daughter of the Su family who is marrying out. According to the family rules, she can only take away the 1st level talisman maker inheritance she has earned. There has been no 2nd level inheritance in the family for so many years. So, Lin Changqing directly looked for books or jade slips, but unfortunately the 7 or 8 books he found were all about exercises. Moreover, it was the kind that was widely circulated. There were already quite a few such techniques in Lin Changqing's spoils of war. Seeing this result, Lin Changqing was also very disappointed, but he also knew that it was normal not to find it. After all, not every casual cultivator has an ancestor with a distinguished background like Zhao Liu. In the end, there was only a pile of clothes, various daily necessities and other sundries, and 7 or 8 jade boxes left. First, these useless clothes and sundries were put into the storage bag specially for sundries. Looking at the last 8 remaining jade boxes, Lin Changqing said to Chen Ziya, "Junior sister, let's each have 4 jade boxes and compare our luck. Let's see who has better luck." Chen Ziya laughed and readily agreed. She randomly selected 4 jade boxes, and Lin Changqing took the last 4. After opening them directly, they were all found to be spiritual medicines, and one of them was the main medicine of the foundation building pill, the golden silk lotus, and the other 3 were also auxiliary medicines of the foundation building pill. Looking at Chen Ziya's side, I found that she was playing with a jade slip in her hand, and the 4 jade boxes were also opened. 3 of the jade boxes also contained spiritual medicines, which seemed to be auxiliary medicines for the foundation building pills, but Lin Changqing didn't care about them now. He hurriedly asked, "Junior sister, what's in the jade slip?" Chen Ziya chuckled and said, "I haven't read it yet, but it's probably the inheritance of the talisman maker that senior brother wants, so senior brother, read it yourself." After that, he handed the jade box and the jade slip to Lin Changqing. Lin Changqing saw that there was a waist talisman in the jade box. The reason why it was called a waist talisman was that Lin Changqing couldn't feel its spiritual pressure. But just by looking at its material, he knew that it must be a spiritual talisman of the 2nd level or above, so he judged that it was a waist talisman. I just don't know what the meaning is. And it is specially placed in this jade box. No wonder Chen Ziya speculated that this jade slip might contain the inheritance of the talisman maker. Regardless of so much, he took the jade slip and put it on his forehead and read it. Just seeing the first few words, Lin Changqing laughed. The beginning was the 4 big words Jinggan Fu Jing, and Lin Changqing knew that it was right, and it must be what he wanted. And it just happened to match the book Su Jinggan's talisman essays in his storage bag. This time it was really double happiness. It was the most suitable gift for his mother. She would definitely be very happy. He quickly found a suitable jade box to put the jade slip and the book Su Jinggan's talisman essays together. After thinking about it, he put the waist talisman in it. Lin Changqing was a layman in making talismans. When the time came, he would leave these things to his mother to deal with. She knew best whether it was useful or not. Anyway, it didn't take up any space. Junior sister, you are really my lucky star. As soon as you made a move, my wish came true, so I want to give you a reward. After saying that, he was about to approach with a thick skin. Seeing his look, Chen Ziya knew that he was going to betray her next time. So she couldn't help laughing, but she didn't let Lin Changqing succeed, but slipped to the door of the room. Then he turned around and said to Lin Changqing with a smile, "Brother, thank you for the reward. I don't want it, you can keep it for yourself. And here, you can slowly clean up. I will go back to rest first. Remember to board the ship before Chenxi tomorrow." After that, he slipped back into the room. Lin Changqing shook his head and didn't want any reward for her. He could only accumulate it until the next time and then double the reward for her. Anyway, Lin Changqing kept his word. He said he would give her a reward, and he would definitely give it to her. He put all the things on the ground into the corresponding storage bag, and then Lin Changqing returned to his room. After a careful inspection with his spiritual sense, after confirming that it was safe, he activated the maze array in the room and entered the inner space. Soon all the deer came over. Lu Xiaoman was the youngest and had the lowest cultivation, so she came the slowest. It was still the same method, stroking the fur and feeding the spiritual pill. Lin Changqing just bought 100 bottles of this thing, which was a lot, and it should be able to be used for a long time. Let the deer go and play by themselves. Su Miniang was preparing to build a foundation in her room and did not come out. Now only Zhao Liaoyu rushed to Lin Changqing. The few spiritual herbs that had just been harvested were handed over to Zhao Liaoyu. Now Lin Changqing did not need to tell her, and she naturally knew how to deal with them. Go to the room in the yard that is specially used to store spoils, and put away the things that are inconvenient to carry with you. After thinking for a while, he took 2 more 100-year-old red fruits with him, and then communicated with Lin Changli in his mind, asking him to send Lin Changqing to the cave where the ground armor beast was. After a short while, Lin Changli told him that he had arrived. With a thought, he exited the inner space and appeared directly in the cave. In more than half a year, this cave was dug by the family of the ground armor beast for more than 2 miles. Of course, many loose crystal stones were replaced by Lin Changqing and are now piled up in the inner space. After walking for more than 2 miles along the open road, they finally saw the figures of the 5 earth armor beasts. When the 3 little ones saw Lin Changqing coming, they stopped digging and ran directly towards him. To be honest, these little guys have been very kind to him since they were contracted by Lin Changqing 3 months ago. Lin Changqing named them Jin Sen, Jin Si, and Jin Wu, which is easy to remember. The older one is Jin Sen, Jin Si is smaller and female, and the youngest one is Jin Wu, so he will not make a mistake. Every time they see him, they will run to him, greet him and be intimate with him, and then enjoy the monster meat brought by Lin Changqing, and of course the soul-raising pill. Seeing that they all came over, Lin Changqing simply found a suitable place, took out a large piece of monster meat, and began to cut it into strips to make it easier for them to eat. After the 3 little ones had almost finished eating, Jin Yi and Jin Er came over. Lin Changqing felt that the ground armor beast might be more caring than the 3 color deer. Every time, the 3 little ones would eat first, and then the 2 big ones would come over to eat. Caressing the 2 big guys, after this period of getting along, they have already trusted each other very much, and he likes them very much. They are honest and obedient, and they follow his orders meticulously. Now, Lin Changqing only comes to exchange ore with them once every 10 days or so. In addition to what they digest themselves, the remaining is just enough to exchange for 2 red fruits. Every time, it is about the same, about 110 to 20 cubic meters. Lin Changqing threw the red fruit into the mouths of Jin Yi and Jin Er, and then began to collect the ore on the ground into the spirit beast bracelet. After playing with them for a while, Lin Changqing returned to the inner space. He came to the place where the lowest crystal ore was piled up and poured the ore in the spirit beast bracelet here. Now it is a very large pile. After calculating, it should be about 2,200 cubic meters. Although there are a lot of them, if they are all made into first-grade medium-quality lowest crystals, there are only about 1,100 copies, and each copy is 50 spirit stones, which is 55,000 spirit stones. If they are shipped in batches, the price will be lower, and it is estimated to be around 50,000 spirit stones, just enough to buy a foundation building pill. In fact, such efforts and gains are not proportional at all, and the gains are not worth the losses. However, Lin Changqing still has to continue, hoping that the family of the Earth Armor Beast can find more precious mineral veins for him in the future, so that he can get his money back. Moreover, the Earth Armor Beast itself has other uses, so it is still necessary to continue to invest in training. Even after a period of time, they will give them resources to promote Jin Yi, Jin and them to the second level. Then, Lin Changqing is ready to wait until he succeeds in building his foundation, and then he will send Jin Yi and Jin to the interior of the Qinghai Mountains to find more precious mineral resources for him. Chapter 234 Mission Gains. The next day, because he had to board the ship before the hour of dawn, Lin Changqing got up more than an hour earlier than usual. After completing the practice of the 5 Elements Chaos Sutra, he took back the maze array in the room. After scanning the room with his spiritual sense and finding nothing missing, he prepared to wait for Chen Ziya in the living room. Unexpectedly, he saw that she was recovering the hidden soul breathing array. Lin Changqing immediately went up to help. He didn't know how to set up the array, but it was quite simple to recover it. The two of them worked together and it was done in a moment. While it was still early, Lin Changqing shamelessly approached and pulled Chen Ziya to play the stamping game for a while. When Lin Changqing had had enough, he took Chen Ziya, whose face was red, and left the hotel, and went out of the market hand in hand and flew towards the takeoff and landing field. Lin Changqing had walked this road many times, but no matter how familiar the road was, he still had to go out on the first and second days of the new year. With them patrolling in the sky and on guard, Lin Changqing felt more at ease. He avoided several monks on the same road and arrived at a passenger ship landing field smoothly. When they were about to arrive at the landing field, they called back Chui and Chua a little early. Then Lin Changqing and the others found a corner with few people and waited for the time to board the ship. When the sound transmission array of the passenger ship sounded, the two of them went up immediately. Today was quite smooth. They returned to Chen Ziya's room A12 together. After she finished making tea, Lin Changqing shamelessly went to stick to her. Now the two of them were inseparable and wished they could stick together every day. Then the two of them drank this pot of spiritual tea for another 2 hours. During this time, Lin Changqing taught Chen Ziya many stamping techniques, which really opened her eyes and benefited her a lot. Lin Changqing also specifically stated that this was the reward she should have given her yesterday, and today he accumulated it and gave it to her. Lin Changqing also climbed 2 tall and majestic mountains, and lingered on the peaks, playing on the mountain for at least an hour. On the way to the mountain, the relationship between the two further developed. Finally, Chen Ziya said that mountain climbing was still too exciting and too tiring, and she wanted to have a good rest, and then drove Lin Changqing back to her room. The next day, Lin Changqing shamelessly went over to drink tea, and then time passed quickly. The time on the boat was spent like this, practicing every day, drinking tea with Chen Ziya, stamping, and climbing mountains, and the days were very happy. On the next return trip, the itinerary of Danyang Prefecture and Dongyang Prefecture was also full of harvests. Not only in the 2 market towns, but also in the streets and alleys, there were traces left by them. Lin Changqing also harvested 3 high-quality spiritual stones in the gambling stone shops of the 2 market towns, and it is estimated that 300 or 400 high-quality spiritual stones can be opened. In addition, they also harvested a lot of spiritual medicines and spiritual plants that can be planted again from the stalls in the 2 markets. There are more than 50 plants in total in the 2 places. They have all been handed over to Zhao Linayu to be planted in the inner space. The 3 pieces of top-grade raw stones have also been thrown into the deep pit and absorbed and digested by Lin Changqiu. The land area of the inner space is now about 7,000 acres. Although the land area has increased by several hundred acres, it is not very noticeable now. During this period of time, the inner space has also changed a lot. That is the set of array plates that Lin Changqing seized from Guo Dafu and Fudage. After giving it to Zhen Ziya for research, it was confirmed that it was a set of first-class top-grade black tortoise breathing array. This array has the effect of hiding spirits and defense. She specially taught Lin Changqing how to use it. And Lin Changqing arranged this set of black tortoise breathing array in the courtyard of the inner space and taught Su Miniang and Zhao Linayu how to use it. Then Su Miniang officially closed herself in it to build the foundation. With the protection of this magic array, she can devote herself to building the foundation without worrying about sudden interference from the outside world. Especially in the inner space, there are now 7 lively 3-color deer, and they make a little noise from time to time, so it is quite necessary to have this magic array to protect them. And in this journey of more than 10 or 20 days, although Chen Ziya accompanied him every day, stamping, climbing, and so on, he had a lot of fun. But Lin Changqing has never relaxed his own practice, especially the Thunder Sutra. Now he is attacking the 14th Thunder acupoint, and this process has lasted for more than an hour. He is sweating all over and is completely wet, and there is a large pool of sweat under his body. Finally, after an unknown amount of time, with a roar, the 14th Thunder acupoint was finally split successfully. At this time, Lin Changqing's body was completely numb under the long-term stimulation of Thunder Spirit. It took a while to recover, and then he did not dare to delay and began to send the last Thunder Gold Needle that had been sacrificed in advance into the newly opened acupoint. This way, the last step is completed. All that is left is to use the Thunder Spirit to slowly warm up the acupoints. Although he was too tired to move, Lin Changqing still got up, washed himself, cleaned up the ground, and then laid down to rest. Because this trip to accompany Chen Ziya home to visit relatives will be over when the passenger ship lands at the landing field outside Qinghai City at noon tomorrow. All that is left is to return to Qinghai sect, hand in the task to Senior Chen Jiai, and then receive the task reward. However, to be honest, it is okay not to receive this reward, and he is a little embarrassed to receive it. After all, Chen Ziya is basically his person now, and it may be a bit unreasonable to receive the reward from Senior Chen Jiai. Lin Changqing's harvest from this mission is really huge. First of all, Lin Changqing has been promoted to the 3rd level, which is the most important. It will greatly enhance his safety when he walks outside in the future. Of course, with Lin Changqing was a trump card, his courage is relatively greater. Correspondingly, the inner space has also increased the land area of several thousand acres. To put it bluntly, what if something irresistible happens to the Lin family that day? Lin Changqing could pack up all the cultivators of the Lin family, including the ordinary people, and take them away in one go, and then run away through the cross-continent super teleportation array. Of course, if it wasn't a last resort, he would definitely not take this step. This is just a worst-case plan. Secondly, the harvest of 4 3-color deer, that is, Lu Yaoguang's family, and 5 earth armor beasts, Jinai, Jiner, and their 3 children, all play an important role for Lin Changqing. Among them, Chuai is the most powerful. He actually brought back a wife, Chuer. They have lived together for a long time. I don't know when Chuer will raise offspring. Thirdly, in terms of manpower, he harvested 2 subordinates, Su Miniang and Zhao Linyu. There should be another talisman maker, but Lin Changqing has not dealt with this one yet. Guo Dafu and the other 5 are still thrown in the space of the Spirit Beast bracelet. These will be dealt with when Lin Changqing has time. Of course, this is also Lin Changqing's strategy, mainly to endure the talisman maker for a while, so that it is easier to subdue him in the future. These middle-aged veterans have been struggling in the world of immortal cultivation for decades, but it is not so easy to subdue them. Anyway, take it slow, Lin Changqing has plenty of time. At that time, among the 5 people, Lin Changqing only plans to keep the talisman maker, and the others can be killed as a chicken to scare the monkeys. Because the other few people, who Lin Changqing doesn't like, are a waste of spiritual food and elixirs. So this can be regarded as a waste utilization. Anyway, as long as the talisman maker can be subdued in the end. In addition, this time, 2 Kuang veins were harvested, one of which is a miniature red refined fire copper Kuang near Tongshan village. Basically, more than 95% of the red refined fire copper Kuang stones have fallen into Lin Changqing's hands. Prepare to find junior sister Hu to help process and refine them. Of course, it would be best if they can be refined into an alchemy furnace or a refining furnace. Chapter 235 Return to Qinghai. The other Kudu is the one where the Dijia beast, Jin Yi, Jin and their family are staying now. It produces the first-grade medium-quality lowest crystal Kudu. Lin Changqing himself estimated that it was a small Kudu, but now the Kudu has been dug for 5 or 6 miles, and it has not been dug out yet, so it should not be just a small Kudu. However, Lin Changqing does not think much of this lowest crystal Kudu, mainly because its value is too low. There are already several thousand cubic meters piled up in the inner space, and it is only worth about 50,000 spirit stones. Moreover, it is the result of Lin Changqing's 6 or 7 months of transportation. To be honest, it is a bit thankless. It would be better for Lin Changqing to go to the gambling stone shop and buy 2 pieces of medium-quality raw stones to have this income. That's why he let the Digia Beast family stay in there, digging and building as they please. Anyway, the things are not valuable, so he doesn't feel bad about it. When Jin Yi and his family don't want to stay there in the future, let Lin Changqing clean up the Q2, and it will definitely not be wasted at that time. The rest was all on his own. When he set out, he had just broken through the 8th level of key refining. When he came back, he had already advanced to the great perfection of key refining, and most importantly, he had completed the transformation of the 5 elements Chaos Sutra. This made his foundation as solid as a rock, and the quality of his spiritual energy was 5 times that of an ordinary key refining stage. Most importantly, it allowed him to go higher and further on the road to immortality. He also practiced a Thunder Sutra, which opened up 14 thunder acupoints, and his physical cultivation also successfully advanced to the initial stage of the first level of physical cultivation, which was considered the entry point to physical cultivation. The next morning, after Lin Changqing got up, he first completed the basic cultivation of the 5 elements Chaos Sutra. Although he was now at the great perfection of key refining, it was best to maintain a certain amount of cultivation every day to stay at the peak state and ensure that he could successfully build his foundation. The next thing was to feed the spirit pets in the Spirit Beast bracelet. On the 1st and 2nd days of the lunar month, they were fed with monster meat and a soul-nourishing pill. Maokio only needed 1 soul-nourishing pill. The purple crystal scorpion was a little more troublesome. The monster meat had to be broken into pieces so that they could eat more easily. Moreover, the 100 ice crystals given by Senior Chen Jie were also used up the day before yesterday, so Lin Changqing scattered a few hundred spirit stones today to replace the spirit crystals and let the little guys chew slowly. Before returning to Jiufeng Mountain, I have to pay attention to the top-grade spirit crystals when I have time. Otherwise, when I return to Qinghai Market in the next few days, I should take some time to go to Wanbao Pavilion and buy 100 or 200 copies to keep. After feeding the spirit beasts, Lin Changqing took back the small 5-element maze in the room, scanned it twice with his spiritual sense, and after confirming that there was nothing missing, he went to find Chen Ziya next door. For the rest of the preparation time, I stayed with Chen Ziya. From now on, I have to cherish time. The 2 of them should practice more beneficial exercises such as stamping and mountain climbing. Because after handing in the task this time, there will definitely be a long period of time when the 2 of them will not see each other. The restriction on Chen Ziya's door was triggered, and she soon opened the door and let Lin Changqing in. Seeing the spiritual tea on the table, he knew that she had been waiting for him since early morning, so he laughed, picked up Chen Ziya's cup, and started drinking. Chen Ziya was used to it now, so she poured him another cup, and then asked, "Brother, what are your plans when we return to Qinghai City? Should we go back to the cave where my uncle and his family live to see Grandpa Lin and the 2 uncles, or should we go back to Chengshi Peak to see my grandmother and great-grandmother?" Lin Changqing had thought about this question a long time ago, and this time he came here to talk to Chen Ziya about it. After organizing his words a little, he said, "Junior sister, I think we should go back and see Grandpa, Father and second uncle first. Let them know that we are back safely, so that they don't have to worry anymore. You must have met my grandfather, but my father and second uncle probably haven't. This time is just right, you can meet my father and second uncle first, so you won't be so nervous in the future. Anyway, the ugly daughter-in-law has to meet the parents-in-law. Then, we will go to Qinghai Sect to meet Senior Chen Jie and great-grandmother." Hearing this, Chen Ziya became nervous and completely ignored what Lin Changqing said about her being an ugly daughter-in-law. Chen Ziya wanted to say something but stopped, and finally couldn't help asking, "Senior brother, will your family dislike me? Do you think that my personality is too cold and I am not suitable to be a daughter-in-law?" Lin Changqing couldn't help laughing after hearing this. He didn't expect that Chen Ziya would have this day. Of course, he just smiled for a while, and then quickly comforted Chen Ziya. "You are already very good, you really don't need to think too much, they will definitely like you. You are so beautiful, kind and filial, you have a good spiritual root and will soon build a foundation, and you are also a formation master. You see, you have so many advantages, Everyone likes you, you see, I like you very much." After saying that, he hugged Chen Ziya in his arms and stamped her hard. In fact, there is one thing that Lin Changqing did not say, that is, Chen Ziya represents the Chen family to a certain extent. The Chen and Lin families have been friends for hundreds of years, but they have never really married. Now that Lin Changqing and Chen Ziya are a couple, the clan leader and grandfather will know about it, and they will be very happy. How could they not support it? Maybe they can't wait for Lin Changqing and Chen Ziya to get married immediately. So Chen Ziya's worry is completely unnecessary, but Lin Changqing can't tell her, he doesn't want to make their relationship so complicated. Taoist couples are Taoist couples, they are together because they like each other, not because of other factors. He knew that Chen Ziya must be feeling uneasy and needed Lin Changqing to give her support and confidence, so he could only express it in this way. Chen Ziya felt relieved when she heard Lin Changqing list so many advantages for her, and then began to ask about the preferences of Lin Changqing's family. Lin Changqing understood what she meant and tried to introduce her family to her in detail so that she would have a better idea and not be so uneasy. With Lin Changqing's comfort and introduction, Chen Ziya was ready to meet Lin Changqing's family in a few hours. Moreover, Lin Changqing was also worried that she would think too much, so he shared with Chen Ziya the things he did when he was a child in Jiufeng mountain. He tried his best to keep her in a happy mood, so that Chen Ziya would not have free time to think about things. When the passenger ship was about to land, Lin Changqing took Chen Ziya to the side of the ship to wait, basically as soon as the passenger ship stopped. They handed in their credentials, and then Lin Changqing drove the flying boat and took Chen Ziya to Qinghai City. Since he took on the mission of Senior Chen Jiai, he has not seen his family for 7 or 8 months. Lin Changqing misses his grandfather and father very much. Besides, he brought Chen Ziya with him, and he also wanted them to meet and be happy, so Lin Changqing and his partner were the most active to get off the ship. This landing field is quite close to Qinghai City, only about 10 miles away, so they soon entered Qinghai Market. After entering the market, they could only walk, so he held Chen Ziya's hand and walked all the way to the cave that his father and his family rented. After a while, they arrived at the door, gave Chen Ziya a relieved expression, and comforted, "Junior sister, don't worry. You are the best. Just be natural like us usually, they will definitely like you very much, I promise you." Chen Ziya held Lin Changqing's hand tightly, nodded, and whispered, "Senior brother, I'm ready, don't worry." Lin Changqing nodded, cast a spell on the restriction on the door and went in, and then waited at the door with Chen Ziya. Soon, a crack appeared on the door, and a middle-aged monk came out. He looked at the two people in front of him and asked, "My two fellow Taoists, what happened that triggered the restriction on the door?" Chapter 236, Heaven Falling Twanksoon Pill. Lin Changqing was dumbfounded. Isn't this the cave that his father and his family rented? They should have rented it for a year. How come the person who opened the door was an unknown monk? He looked at the nameplate next to the cave again and again, and finally confirmed that he had found the right place. Then he said, "Fellow Taoist, I'm very sorry to bother you. My surname is Lin. This cave was rented by my family before. I don't know when you rented here. Do you know where the previous tenants went?" The man took a look at the two of them and confirmed that they were not here to make trouble or to get information or something. Then he said, "I have rented this place for almost a month. I didn't see your family when I came. Why don't you go to the General Affairs Hall of Qinghai Sect, which manages the cave, to ask and see if you can find out where they are?" When Lin Changqing heard this, he thought it made sense. He quickly thanked the man and said goodbye, then took Chen Ziya's hand and walked towards the General Affairs Hall. It was easy to find the General Affairs Hall, after all, this place was the most conspicuous. However, when they got here, it was not Lin Changqing who took the lead. Chen Ziya took over. With her inner disciple's identity jade card, she quickly asked the monks on duty to help find the records of Lin Changqing's father and others. However, there was only one record of rent withdrawal, and the time on it was exactly 1 month ago, and there was no record of them subletting other caves. That means they either live in Changsha Peak or have returned to Jiufeng Mountain. However, Lin Changqing speculated that his grandfather and father may have returned to Jiufeng Mountain as high as 9 floors. After discussing with Chen Ziya, they decided to return to Changsha Peak of Qinghai Sect first to pay homage to the great-grandmother and see if she knew what was going on. The two went straight to the mountain gate of Qinghai Sect, but this time it was Chen Ziya who drove the flying boat and took Lin Changqing. Because she was a disciple of Qingyun sect, and now she was on the territory of Qingyun sect, it would be more convenient for her to come forward. At the mountain gate, relying on Chen Ziai's status as an inner sect disciple and Lin Changqing's young Shizhenren, a registered disciple, the two flew straight to Chengshi Peak without any obstruction. Soon, the flying boat controlled by the two landed directly at the gate of the White Courtyard. Although Lin Changqing had been here twice, he was still unfamiliar with it and did not dare to scan it with his spiritual sense, so he could only follow Chen Ziai obediently. When he entered the door, he met two of Chen Ziai's senior sisters, who were taking turns guarding the door. "Oh. Junior sister Chen is finally back. You have been gone for 7 or 8 months. Uncle Chen often misses you." After saying that, he kept smiling and looking at Lin Changqing. Another one also said, "Yes, Uncle Chen said a few days ago that he happened to be going to Jianzhou Prefecture recently and was going to bring you all back by the way." Although the two were talking to Chen Ziai, they kept smiling and looking at Lin Changqing, as if they wanted to see him in a trance. "Hello, Senior Sister Li and Senior Sister Yang. It turns out that it is your turn to be on duty today. I wonder if my grandmother and great-grandmother are in the peak today." Lin Changqing was a little embarrassed by their looks. He didn't know what they meant by looking at him so blatantly. But he still greeted them like Chen Ziai did. "Lin Changqing, meet Senior Sister Li and Senior Sister Yang." The two of them returned the greeting. Senior Sister Yang smiled and said to Lin Changqing, "Junior brother Lin, you are already very famous in our Chengshi Peak." Lin Changqing was a little puzzled. How did he become famous in Chengshi Peak? Just when he wanted to ask in detail what was going on, another Senior Sister Li had already said, "Today, True Man Ziyan and Uncle Hu came to visit. The Grandmaster and Uncle Chen should be in the back garden now. Junior brother Lin and sister Chen, you go over." Chen Ziai nodded, thanked them, and took Lin Changqing all the way to the back garden. After many twists and turns, they finally arrived at the pavilion where they had been last time. They happened to see 4 people sitting inside the pavilion. Great-grandmother, Master Li, Senior Chen Jiai, and another person they didn't know, but from the spiritual pressure emanating from their bodies, they should be a Purple Mansion cultivator. The 4 of them were drinking tea and chatting. The 2 hurried forward to greet them. Grandson greets great-grandmother, grandmother, Master Uncle, and Master Uncle Hu. Lin Changqing also followed behind and said, "Grandson greets great-grandmother, Master Li," and the 2 seniors, great-grandmother looked at the 2 of them with a smile. "You 2 will be gone for 7 or 8 months, which is a lot more time than originally planned. Jie couldn't help but go to see you. Did you have a smooth journey?" Lin Changqing and Chen Ziai looked at each other, and then Lin Changqing said, "There were some twists and turns on the road, but fortunately, with the protection of great-grandmother, we managed to deal with it smoothly. It can be said that there was no danger." Hearing what Lin Changqing said, great-grandmother and Senior Chen Jie both laughed. Then Ke Chen said, "You are talking about the key family of Dongyang Prefecture, right? Your great-grandmother has already sought justice for you. The key family will compensate you 2 with 1 Zifu Twangsun pill each. After all, we still have to give Uncle Shenshin some face, and the key family has paid a huge sum of money for these 2 Twangsun pills, so this matter ends here." Lin Changqing and Chen Ziai were ecstatic when they heard this. They didn't expect there would be such a benefit. It was really like sitting at home and having Twangsun pills fall from the sky. Lin Changqing clenched his fist happily and quickly thanked the great-grandmother. "Thank you, great-grandmother, you are so wise and powerful." The great-grandmother thought of the last time when Chen Shan's Henren looked like that, and she couldn't help laughing again, and praised Lin Changqing. Xiao Qinger did a very good job this time. Using reasonable and limited conditions, he cleverly solved the problem. Not only did he protect himself, but he also defeated the Qi family and Chen Shan's Henren. It's really good. Even if it was me, I might not be able to think of such a clever method all of a sudden. Lin Changqing was embarrassed by the great-grandmother's praise for him, and could only say modestly, "I have no choice but to do this, I just came across it." At this time, Ziyan's Henren also asked curiously, "Senior sister, what is the story? A little guy in the key refining stage can defeat senior brother Chen Shan. Tell us quickly, let us listen, let us see it too," the great-grandmother said proudly. "Let Xiao Qinger tell you. My grandson is very smart." Then everyone's eyes were focused on him, obviously wanting to hear him talk about what happened at that time. Lin Changqing had no choice but to give a brief account of what had happened. emphasizing that the two of them were facing the pursuit of the obviously malicious foundation-building cultivators at the time, and they were powerless to deal with it. They could only borrow the background and partners of Wanbao Pavilion to seek help from Chengqing's Henren in a desperate situation. They also used the channels of Wanbao Pavilion to pass the news to Chengshi Peak, and finally Chengqing's Henren came forward to rescue them. After listening to Lin Changqing's description, the four people in the pavilion couldn't help laughing again. True Man Ziyan even spoke up and said, "I guess senior brother Shen Shan must have been extremely depressed at the time. Involving Wanbao Pavilion, he certainly couldn't kill the shop assistant to silence him, nor could he let the two of you die in front of him, and he had to find a way to clean up the Qi family's mess. It was really ingenious, and it can be said that one thing is linked to another, and one thing affects the whole body. It really defeated senior brother Shen Shan. Senior sister, you are so lucky. Your descendants are so talented, unlike my younger generations, who only know how to refine weapons, and refine them until they become stupid." The great-grandmother shook her head, pointed at Lin Changqing and said, "I don't have many disciples here, and only this little guy has a little spirituality. The others are just average. I like his character very much, but it's a pity that his spiritual root aptitude is a little worse." If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelists. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 237, Random Matchmaking. Sister, just be content. There are no perfect things in the world for you to encounter. I remember your grandson, the one who broke through the Jiang secret realm last time and saved Ziona by the way. He should have been the one who hit hard, the core disciple of the Xiangxing sword sect, right? Since he has such fighting power among his peers, coupled with his spirituality and character, he may be one of our peers in the future. I like him very much. How about giving me half? I will betroth Ziona to him, so that we can be considered as relatives." As soon as Master Ziyan finished speaking, Chen Ziya screamed. Her face turned pale with fear, her body couldn't help but tremble, and then she looked at her great-grandmother pleadingly. Lin Changqing's heart was also lifted, and he quickly looked at his great-grandmother. Seeing her like this, several people in the pavilion understood something, and their eyes switched back and forth between Lin Changqing and Chen Ziya. The great-grandmother thought for a moment and said, "Let the young people decide for themselves. I, an old woman, won't match people up randomly." Hearing the great-grandmother say this, Lin Changqing and Chen Ziya breathed a sigh of relief. They almost let Ziyan Zhenren say a word and made a big mistake. Ziyan Zhenren also nodded, feeling a little regretful. It seems that Ziona was a step slower and had no chance. After chatting with the great-grandmother for a while, they said goodbye and left. Lin Changqing and the others followed a great-grandmother and sent them to the gate of the courtyard. Before leaving, Ziyan Zhenren also said to Lin Changqing, "Little guy, you are welcome to visit Sanayan Peak when you are free." Lin Changqing was flattered. This was the second time he received an invitation from Ziyan Zhenren. He quickly replied, "Thank you Zhenren. I will definitely go to Sanayan Peak with my junior sister when I am free." Ziyan Zhenren heard Lin Changqing's answer and understood something in his heart. With a smile on her face, she looked at him meaningfully, then said goodbye to the great-grandmother, and the two flew away. Then the four of them returned to the pavilion. As soon as Lin Changqing sat down, the great-grandmother took out two small jade boxes with high-level soul-sealing talismans and gave one to each of them. Inside the small jade box is the Zifu Twangsun pill that the Qi family compensates you with. Keep it for yourself. The two hurriedly took it respectfully and thanked the great-grandmother again. Lin Changqing looked at the jade box in his hand, wanting to say something but stopping. The great-grandmother glanced at him and said, "Just say what you want to say." "Why are you hesitating?" Lin Changqing quickly responded, and then said, "Grandmother, my grandson did not consider the feelings of Master Shenshin at that time. Will Master Shenshin hold a grudge against the two of us?" The great-grandmother shook her head and said, "It's over, it's over. You two guys are not qualified to make Master Shenshin hold a grudge. At most, he will remember you. Don't worry too much about this. As long as you don't get into trouble with him in the future, he won't attack the younger generation casually." Lin Changqing nodded. Hearing the great-grandmother say this, he was relieved. After all, they didn't have a direct conflict with Master Shenshin, and Master Shenshin couldn't attack them directly. As for the Qi family, he was really not afraid. If he wanted to, he could use all his means and he could destroy everyone in the Qi family except Qi Daoxin. By the way, the most important question has not been asked yet. He quickly said, "Grandmother, when my grandson returned to Qingyuan Market, my grandfather and father had already given up the cave they rented. They had agreed to wait for my grandson to go home together, but I don't know what happened. Why did they suddenly disappear? I wonder if they came to say goodbye to my great-grandmother and tell me where they were going before they left." The great-grandmother nodded. "Even if you don't ask about this, I have to tell you that your clan leader brought your grandfather and others to say goodbye to me a month ago. They said something happened at home. From what they said, someone attacked the foundation building cultivators at home, so they were in a hurry to go back." When Lin Changqing heard this, a surge of anger rushed to his head, and his scalp was about to explode. He wished he could set off and rush back now. He and Lin Changqing were the strongest fighters in the Lin family. At that time, the foundation building cultivators in the family should only be left, the 6th grandfather Lin Fangxun, the 14th uncle Lin Maoxiang, and his aunt Lin Maoting. Although his aunt should have stayed in Jiufeng Mountain all the time, and the chance of being attacked was the smallest, he still couldn't help but worry. After all, she was just a spiritual plant master with little experience in fighting. If she was attacked by someone, she would have little chance of survival. So he wanted to fly back immediately to see what was going on. "Grandmother, did the clan leader tell us what happened specifically? Who was spied on in the house?" Lin Changqing asked hurriedly. The great-grandmother shook her head gently and said, "I didn't go into details about this. They were in a hurry at the time. I could only give them some spiritual tools and elixirs. Now a month has passed, and there is no news." Lin Changqing was even more anxious after hearing this, and immediately said goodbye. "Great-grandmother, my grandson is anxious and wants to rush back to Jiufeng Mountain to take a look. Please allow me to do so." "No. The incident happened more than a month ago. It's no use for you to go back now. It's better to stay in Changsha Peak for a while and make further plans when there is news. Moreover, I guess this matter should not be that simple. It should be related to this beast tide." Chen Ziya couldn't help but ask, "Great-grandmother, what is the connection between them?" The great-grandmother smiled and said, "Zio Kinger, have you figured it out? If you have figured it out, explain it to Zioya." Lin Changqing was frowning and thinking about this matter, and heard the great-grandmother's words. After organizing his words a little, he said, "I don't know about other places in this beast tide, but I estimate that it will definitely cause a lot of casualties to the 13 foundation building families in Pingyang Prefecture. Some families may even be seriously injured, but the Lin family did not suffer much loss in this beast tide. After the exchange, it may even become stronger than before. This fundamentally destroyed the balance that the 13 families have been trying to maintain. Now someone should have foreseen the rise of the Lin family, so they couldn't help but suppress and intervene. The best way to suppress the Lin family at present is to kill the high-end combat power of the family. Without the leadership of the foundation building cultivators, no matter how many key refining stages are left, they are useless and can't make any waves at all. Moreover, it is very likely that this matter was not done by one family. The biggest possibility is that several families joined forces. After listening to Lin Changqing's analysis, everyone had different expressions. The great-grandmother felt very gratified that the Lin family did have a talent. He was gifted and understood everything at once. He was truly from point to surface. He only gave him a little direction and he analyzed the truth of the matter. In the future, the Lin family is very likely to prosper under his leadership. This can be regarded as a reasonable explanation for the deceased Lin Guangcheng. But Chen Jie felt unbelievable. Is there really someone with such a strong talent? He understood everything at once. Although he has witnessed it with his own eyes, it still feels a little unreal. He is really a monster. If she didn't know that his spiritual root qualifications were so poor, she would have snatched him to Changsha Peak to be the next generation of the eldest disciple. What they didn't know was that Lin Changqing had seen a lot of information explosion in his previous life. He just thought about it a little and understood what was going on. Chen Ziya didn't think so much, but just looked at Lin Changqing worriedly. She knew that Lin Changqing must be unable to stay in Changsha Peak and would definitely rush back to the family to help. Although he dealt with the cultivators in the key training period as easily as cutting melons and vegetables. But this is, after all, a fight between cultivators in the foundation establishment stage, which is different from those she had encountered before, so she is particularly worried now. Chapter 238 The Power of Thunder. Lin Changqing couldn't care less about that now, and said to his great-grandmother again, "Grandson, I really can't stay out of this, and I can't wait to go home. Please allow me to return to Jiufeng Mountain immediately and do my part for the family." Seeing his firm attitude, his great-grandmother sighed softly, knowing that he really couldn't stay here anymore. So she said, "Since you insist on going back, I won't stop you. You can rest in Chengshi Peak for a day or two before returning to Jiufeng Mountain. After all, the incident happened more than a month ago. If you rush over now, it won't make much difference whether you go there one day earlier or later. In addition, the distance from here to Jiufeng Mountain is long. Even a foundation building cultivator needs to fly for 3 to 4 days. If you travel alone, it will take at best 10 days. In fact, it is really unnecessary." When Lin Changqing heard that the great-grandmother finally gave in, he quickly said the final word, "Thank you, great-grandmother. Then your grandson will rest here today and tomorrow, and set off early the day after tomorrow." The great-grandmother nodded, thinking that she couldn't let him go back like this. After thinking about it, she took out a jade pendant from her storage bracelet and handed it to Lin Changqing. She introduced it and said, "This is a little gadget I made a long time ago. I'm giving it to you now. It contains the mana equivalent to my ordinary attack in the middle stage of the Purple Mansion. If you use it well, it's no problem to kill ordinary late-stage foundation building cultivators. I'm giving it to you for self-defense. Remember to spend some time to refine it." Lin Changqing was overjoyed. The more of this kind of thing, the better. He hurriedly stepped forward to take it respectfully and thanked his great-grandmother. At this time, Senior Chen Jie also said, "Originally, I didn't agree with you going back at this time, but since your great-grandmother agreed, I won't be a bad guy. You insist on going back, and this trip is risky, so I'll give you something for self-defense." After that, she raised her hand and took out a silver bead about the size of an 8 treasure egg and handed it to Lin Changqing. Lin Changqing didn't expect Senior Chen Jie to value him so much and actually give him something for self-defense. He could only take it respectfully and thank her. As soon as he got the thing, he immediately felt that the bead contained an extremely violent thunder power. This thunder power was many times more violent and powerful than Lin Changqing's Zhengjing Divine Thunder. It gave people a feeling of heaven and earth. He immediately knew that this thing was not simple. Chen Jie introduced, "This is the power of some thunder tribulation that was collected by the tribulation platform when I was promoted to the Purple Mansion stage. After successfully surviving the 19th heavenly tribulation on the tribulation platform of the sect, the heavenly thunder bead was specially refined by someone. This is a real thunder tribulation. Not only is it powerful in itself, this thing has a miraculous effect on the cultivators who have reached the great perfection of the foundation establishment, or the demon beasts with the top cultivation of the second stage, and it may even bring them the heavenly tribulation in advance." Hearing Senior Chen Jie's introduction, Lin Changqing was shocked. This thing was too precious. Just when he was about to return it, he didn't expect Chen Jie to directly press his shoulder. She continued, "I probably already know the process of this mission. You have completed it very well. I am very satisfied. This is my extra reward for you." Senior Chen Jie said so Lin Changqing had to accept it, and then thanked her again respectfully. Seeing that it was almost done, the great-grandmother instructed Chen Ziya again, "Ziya, take Ziya down. Arrange a suitable place for him to live, and that place will always be left to him in the future." Chen Ziya was overjoyed and agreed immediately. Then Lin Changqing said goodbye to the two elders and followed Chen Ziya out of the back garden. Chen Ziya did not stay in this large white courtyard, nor did she plan to let Lin Changqing live here. She mainly considered that most of the people here were female cultivators, and Lin Changqing would not feel comfortable here, and it would definitely be inconvenient, so she simply took him out of the courtyard. Keep walking down. In the bamboo forest on the mountainside, you find a quiet small courtyard, after a few spells, and then go in with Lin Changqing. "Brother, take a look around first. Are you satisfied with this place? If you don't like it, I will help you change another courtyard. There are several more for you to choose from." Lin Changqing looked around the environment of the residence. Half of the courtyard was hidden in the bamboo forest. The overall orientation was also very good. It faced northwest and southeast. The lighting and ventilation were very good, and the environment was even better. There was also a wooden plaque on the door of the courtyard, with the words "Listening to the Winds Iazhu" written on it. The environment here is good, and the name of the courtyard is also very elegant. He couldn't help but nod, and was very satisfied in his heart, knowing that Chen Ziya must have chosen the best place for him to live. So he said, "No, I like it here. Didn't junior sister already choose the best place for me? I believe there won't be a better place than here. Even if there is, I don't want it, I want this place." Chen Ziya couldn't help laughing happily after hearing this. It was still senior brother who understood her best. She herself liked this listening to the Winds Iazhu very much, and sometimes came here to calculate the formation. Chen Ziya took the initiative to hold Lin Changqing's hand and introduced this place to him in detail, telling him that she often came here. The words Tingfang Ziazu at the door were also written by her. "Then when I'm not here, this place will be left to junior sister to take care of." Lin Changqing pushed a boat with the current. Anyway, he couldn't come here often, so he might as well leave this place to Chen Ziya. Chen Ziya nodded and agreed happily. But when she thought that her senior brother was going to go back to participate in the fight between families, and even involved in the fight between foundation building cultivators, the risks she had to face were simply unpredictable, and she was in no mood at all. She said to Lin Changqing, "Senior brother, I will go back with you. Although I am not good at fighting, I can help the town guard in the mountain formation. Senior brother, take me back." Chen Ziya's words made Lin Changqing feel warm in his heart, but he still couldn't take her back at this time. This time he had to act alone, and even when necessary, he would use a big move, which was not convenient for her to take with him. So Lin Changqing shook his head and said, "Junior sister, I'll take you back and wait for next time. I know you are worried about me, but you should know my ability. You will definitely come back safely, and this time, the great-grandmother and senior Chen Jie gave such a powerful treasure, so nothing will happen, don't worry." Chen Ziya also knew that Lin Changqing would definitely not agree to take her with him, so she could only suppress her thoughts for the time being. Lin Changqing thought that he would definitely not be able to get away in a short time, so he handed over the magic tools he had prepared early in the morning to Chen Ziya, and only kept a part of the fine magic tools. There was also a batch of red refined fire copper stones, which were packed into several storage bags and handed over to Chen Ziya, asking her to entrust junior sister Hu to deal with them. He couldn't take care of these things now, and he was relieved to have Chen Ziya help him deal with these things. Thinking of the things he should prepare, he might not need them, but his family and clansmen would definitely need them, so he said to Chen Ziya, "Junior sister, let's go to Wanbao Pavilion together tomorrow. I need to prepare some things." Chen Ziya readily agreed, and after agreeing on a time, she went back first. After all, she had just returned, and there must be some things that she needed to deal with. Coincidentally, Lin Changqing also took advantage of this time to think carefully about what he should prepare. The main reason was that the news came too suddenly, and he was not prepared at all. Now among his spirit beasts, only Lu Yaoqiang and Lu Xiaoya are second-level existences, but they are second-level beasts that are not good at fighting. They are not threatening to normal foundation-building cultivators at all, and they are just sending food to the gods, so it is better not to take them out, and let them continue to work for him in the inner space. The ground armor beasts Jinai and Jinar are still first level now, and they can't be relied on, so now he still has to think of a way on the purple crystal scorpion. Chapter 239 Increased Potential. It has been several months since the purple crystal scorpion was promoted, although it is too early to advance again now. But there is no other way. The situation forced Lin Changqing to select 10 of the largest and strongest purple crystal scorpions. Give them the 100 flowers soul intoxicating wine to make them advance to the second level, so that Lin Changqing doesn't have to do everything. Although it is the third level, theoretically in Pingyang Prefecture, among the 13 foundation building families, it should be invincible, but it is better not to use it casually if it can be left alone. Moreover, he also wanted to see what the purple crystal scorpion would look like after it was promoted to the second level, but this time it was a bit of a hassle. So Lin Changqing decided to give them some more potential. Now there are 11 foundation building fruits hanging on a tree in the inner space, and Lin Changqing is going to get 10 of them. Give them to the 10 selected purple crystal scorpions, and then give them the soul intoxicating wine, which can more or less increase their potential. I hope that this promotion will not affect their subsequent growth. Of course, he certainly didn't dare to enter the inner space at Changsha Peak now, so he could only wait until the day after tomorrow to find a safe place to enter the inner space, and then make proper arrangements. The next morning, Lin Changqing completed the basic training. Then he brewed a pot of spiritual tea and sat in the yard, waiting for Chen Ziai's arrival, and by the way, he appreciated the beautiful bamboo forest in this place. The breeze blew through the bamboo forest, and the bamboo leaves rustled. There was an inexplicable, uncatchable rhythm, which made people feel very comfortable and relaxed, and very artistic. No wonder Chen Ziai liked this place so much, and named this yard listening to the wind's Iazhu, which was indeed a good place for her. After a while, Chen Ziai came, but she didn't say anything. Seeing that Lin Changqing was listening to the sound of the wind, she quietly leaned beside him. Lin Changqing hugged her, and the two listened to the sound of bamboo leaves for more than an hour. In the end, Lin Changqing saw that the time was almost up, so he pulled her to the direction of the mountain gate of Qingyuan sect and set off. With Chen Ziai, the inner sect disciple, by his side, it was much more convenient to enter and exit the mountain gate without too many obstructions. He went straight to Wanbao Pavilion after entering the market. As soon as he stepped into Wanbao Pavilion, a young girl came to greet him. "Hello, two distinguished guests, welcome to Wanbao Pavilion. I am your shopping guide this time. You can just call me Zilin." She was the shop attendant who had entertained Lin Changqing once before. "Hello, I want some elixirs," Lin Changqing said. "Yes, please go upstairs to have tea." This way, Zilin led Lin Changqing and the other two to a small private room and sat them down. Soon, a maid served 2 cups of spiritual tea. "This guest looks familiar, as if I have seen him before," Zilin greeted with a smile. Lin Changqing nodded and said, "Yes, I have been here once before, and you also received me at that time. That's really fate. You two came here today. Do you need anything? I will try my best to find you too, it's fate. I came here this time to buy some Xianlizi and Yinlizi. 20 of each will do first," Lin Changqing said lightly. Hearing that Lin Changqing asked for such a one-time powerful spiritual object at once, Zilin was overjoyed. She hurriedly said, Yes, Xianlizi and Yinlizi are both 500 spiritual stones each. I will go down to prepare them now. Please wait for a moment, two distinguished guests." Then, she bowed and left to prepare the spiritual objects. After the maid refilled the spiritual tea for the two twice, Zilin came back with a tray covered with red cloth. Zilin respectfully placed the tray in front of Lin Changqing and was about to introduce it, but Lin Changqing raised his hand to stop her. There was no need for her to introduce this thing. Lin Changqing was very familiar with it. He checked it himself and found that there was no problem with 40 powerful, one-time magic tools. Lin Changqing nodded and continued, "I want all these things. Give me some more pills." "Okay, what other pills do customers need? Wanbao Pavilion should be able to find them. I'll get them for you." Lin Changqing smiled and said, "Give me more. 20 bottles of Huling pills, 20 bottles of rejuvenating pills, and 10 bottles of jade healing pills. Yes, these 3 commonly used pills, as many as you want is fine. Top-grade Huling pills and top-grade rejuvenating pills are both 20 spirit stones each, and a bottle of 10 is 200 spirit stones. Top-grade jade healing pills are more expensive, 30 spirit stones each, and a bottle of 10 is 300 spirit stones in total. Do you need anything else? I'll get them all, so that the two distinguished guests don't have to wait too long." Lin Changqing was about to shake his head when he suddenly had an idea. The purple crystal scorpion spirit crystals had been used up, so it was a good time to buy some here. So he said, "Do you have any first-grade high-quality spiritual crystals for sale? If you do, you can bring them up and have a look. These are probably what we need. Go down and prepare them. We have other things to do later." Zilin quickly agreed and went down, and this time she was much faster. Not long after, she came back with 50 bottles of elixirs. Lin Changqing randomly checked some of them and put them aside after confirming that there were no problems. Zilin brought 2 kinds of spiritual crystals in total, one of which was ice crystal. Lin Changqing gestured for her to introduce the other one. Zilin picked up a small light yellow crystal and introduced it. This is a first-grade high-quality earth-attributed spiritual material ginger crystal. Each portion costs 180 spiritual stones. There are about 200 portions in the pavilion now. Lin Changqing frowned when he heard this. Aren't first-grade high-quality spiritual crystals about 150 spiritual stones? Why is this so expensive? He couldn't help but ask, how many spirit stones are there for one portion of ice crystal? Zilin also knew that the customer had doubts, and quickly replied, 150 spirit stones for each portion of ice crystal. The reason why ginger crystal is so expensive is that it is not easy to collect. This thing is only found in specific locations in the desert, and it is possible to find it below 100 feet. It is troublesome to mine and collect it. In addition, ginger crystal is relatively hard and suitable for refining armor, so it will be slightly more expensive than other first-level spirit crystals. Lin Changqing was a little speechless. Each portion was 30 spirit stones more expensive, not just a little more expensive, but a lot more. Fortunately, he could still afford this price. He said to Zilin, since you are talking so well, then give me 100 portions of ginger crystal. In fact, as soon as he heard that ginger crystal was relatively hard and suitable for refining armor, he decided to buy it. Zilin was overjoyed when she heard that ginger crystal was relatively hard and suitable for refining armor. Then she ran out. She did not forget that the customer just said that they had other things to do later, so she had to hurry up. Not long after, Zilin returned with 100 ginger crystals. After Lin Changqing checked and found no problem, he poured out 49,000 spirit stones and his VIP card and handed them to Zilin. She recorded the amount of the transaction on Lin Changqing's VIP card with a secret method, and the transaction was completed. After the transaction was completed, Lin Changqing and the other person were ready to say goodbye and leave. Zilin was about to see them off to the door. However, Lin Changqing stopped her and told her not to send them off. Then the two of them walked out of one Bao pavilion in a low profile. He didn't want to attract anyone's attention. Holding Chen Ziya's hand, the two walked towards the gambling stone shop. Lin Changqing had been here for several months. Now, the boss of the gambling stone shop should have bought new goods, so it would be the most appropriate time to go there. And Lin Changqing also knew the place, so the two of them walked over slowly holding hands. Chen Ziya cherishes the present time very much, because the next time the two of them strolled hand in hand again, they would have to wait until the battle between the 13 foundation building families in Pingyang Prefecture was over. It was still unknown how long it would take, and Lin Changqing himself had no way of estimating it. As soon as the two of them stepped into the gambling stone shop, the shop assistant immediately came up to them, but Lin Changqing waved his hand at him. He said, "Don't bother, we'll just take a look ourselves, and we'll find you if we need anything." The shop assistant nodded, bowed, and left. Lin Changqing said to Chen Ziya again, "Junior sister, let's separate and choose by ourselves first, and then meet up later." Chen Ziya chuckled and said, "Okay, senior brother, remember what you promised me, and come over to help me with some reference later." Lin Changqing laughed. He couldn't help himself last time and helped Chen Ziya. She still remembered it until now, but anyway, it's better to keep the benefits within the family. "I know, you choose a few pieces first, I'll come over later, and we'll decide which one we want then." Chen Ziya heard this and immediately started to choose with great interest. Lin Changqing himself went straight to a large rough stone. He saw it as soon as he entered the store. It was the only rough stone in the store that emitted a bright halo, and it was a blue halo, which was very beautiful. Of course, there were 13 or 14 other rough stones with darker colors, but Lin Changqing was not very interested in them. He came to the rough stone that emitted a bright blue halo and studied it. This rough stone was the second largest high-quality spiritual stone mine he had ever seen. It was estimated to be half the weight of the treasure of the town. Lin Changqing couldn't help but hug it. Sure enough, he was now an entry-level physical cultivator, and he could still lift things weighing 1,500 to 1,600 kilograms. But now, after trying 2 or 3 times, the rough stone did not move at all, proving that it was definitely more than 2,000 kilograms. In this way, Lin Changqing had an idea in his mind. The pricing method of ordinary rough stones is almost the same, 3 to 4 times the weight, which is the selling price of the rough stone. Chapter 240 Confession. The shop assistant asked the boss to settle the bill. After the two of them discussed, they decided on a price of 10,000 spirit stones, because the raw stone weighed more than 2,600 kilograms, which was much heavier than Lin Changqing had imagined. Finally, the shop assistant, the boss, and Lin Changqing worked together to put the big raw stone into Lin Changqing's storage bag. At this time, there were quite a few people in the gambling stone shop. The three of them had been struggling with this big raw stone for so long that they had attracted a lot of attention. Lin Changqing pulled the boss aside, paid the spirit stones, and then hurried to find Chen Ziya. When he got to her, there were 4 raw stones in front of her. Lin Changqing glanced at them and saw that one of the 4 stones emitted a dark green halo. This middle-grade wood spirit stone, he estimated it to be about 130 to 140 kilograms. When Lin Changqing approached, Chen Ziya hurriedly called out, "Brother, you came just in time. Come and help me see which of these raw stones is the best." Lin Changqing nodded, pretended to study it, and finally chose the middle-grade wood spirit stone. "Let's take this one. It feels good, but there is no way to guarantee that you will win the bet. If it fails, you can't blame me." Lin Changqing still had to say something first. If she wins this time, Lin Changqing won't dare to let her win next time. He invited the boss over, and because Lin Changqing was the big boss, he didn't want the change, and took 500 spirit stones from Chen Ziya. After Chen Ziya collected the raw stone, the 2 left the gambling stone shop. They couldn't go anywhere else. Lin Changqing already felt that someone was following them. So the 2 flew directly to the mountain gate of Qingyuan sect. Fortunately, Qingyuan city was at the foot of the mountain, not too far away, and no one dared to make a move in this place. Moreover, the 2 people heading towards the mountain gate were obviously from Qingyuan sect, so the groups of people following them gave up directly after seeing this situation. These people were not so stubborn as to dare to attack the main disciples of Qingyuan sect in front of the mountain gate of Qingyuan sect. The 2 had just returned to Tingfang cottage, but they didn't expect to see Hu Yuna and Zhao Mingxia at the door, and it was obvious that the 2 had been waiting for a while. As the host, Lin Changqing quickly called out to them, "2 junior sisters, why are you here? Come in." When Hu Yuna heard Lin Changqing's voice and saw him coming back with Chen Ziya, she began to feel inexplicably irritated, although she had known that they had gone out together in the morning. But he still hurriedly greeted them, "Senior brother Gao, senior sister Chen, long time no see, you are back, why didn't you notify us?" Zhao Mingxia also said, "Hello senior sister Chen and senior brother Gao, why do I feel that senior brother Gao's voice is so familiar, as if I have heard it somewhere before?" Hearing her say this, Lin Changqing and the other 2 couldn't help laughing. It was still Chen Ziya who said, "Junior sister, who brought you here? There must be a deep meaning." "Wait a minute, let him tell you himself, let us all come in first." After that, he cast a spell on the restriction, and then led them into the door, and Lin Changqing went in last. He knew that Chen Ziya's sudden initiative meant to declare sovereignty to the outside world. Of course. This depends on whether the 2 junior sisters can understand it. After all, the sudden appearance of Master Ziyan yesterday probably scared Chen Ziya. The 4 of them entered the courtyard and sat down. Lin Changqing said, "My tea art is very poor, so I won't show off to you junior sisters. I'll ask junior sister Chen to do it for me." Chen Ziya instantly understood what Lin Changqing meant, and of course she agreed happily. Zhao Mingxia was a little puzzled, and her eyes switched back and forth between the 3 people. After everyone tasted the spiritual tea that Chen Ziya had served, Lin Changqing then said to Zhao Mingxia, "Junior sister Zhao, stop looking. I am Lin Changqing, also known as Gao Dishui, the one who traveled with you in the Jiang secret realm. This is my true appearance. When I was in the secret realm, I wore a hidden spirit mask on my face. I didn't want to bring the grudges in the secret realm to the outside, so I wore a mask. I didn't mean to hide it from you. Sorry." And junior sister who also found out by chance after she left the secret realm. At that time, because the Jiang secret realm had just ended not long ago, I didn't want to cause trouble, so I asked the 2 junior sisters to keep it secret for me. This is also the reason why junior sister who didn't tell you my true identity. Now that you also know my true identity, please continue to keep it secret for me. After all, I am so weak that I can't afford to offend those sect forces." Zhao Mingxia was very happy when she heard this. "Senior brother Gao, that's not right. Senior brother Lin is so nice to see you again. Don't worry. I will definitely keep it a secret for you. Even if my master asks me, I promise not to tell her. Senior brother Lin, you live here now, right? Can I come and visit you often in the future?" After learning the true identity of Lin Changqing, Zhao Mingxia's attitude changed too obviously. After all, he was her lifesaver, and he even gave her the opportunity to soak in the purple spirit liquid. Lin Changqing can be said to be the senior brother she respects the most. Knowing that he lives here, she immediately thought about coming and visiting him often in the future. Lin Changqing chuckled and said, "Of course, as long as I am here, you are always welcome to come and visit me. However, I probably won't be able to stay here for too long. Something happened in the family, and I have to rush back. I will set off early tomorrow morning. Huyana immediately caught the point and asked quickly, Senior Brother Gao, what happened to your family? Can I help? Zhao Mingxia also said, Yes, Senior Brother, you are welcome. As long as we can help, we will definitely go through fire and water without hesitation. Lin Changqing was also very happy. What they said proved that the two of them were still good people and worth continuing to associate with. Soci explained, My two junior sisters are kind-hearted, but it is not appropriate for you to interfere in this matter for the time being. Huyana frowned and asked, Why can't we interfere? Zhao Mingxia also nodded, obviously wanting to ask the same question. Lin Changqing glanced at them and said seriously, This matter involves foundation-building cultivators, which is obviously beyond your capabilities. If you really want to help me, then work hard to cultivate and strive to build your foundation as soon as possible, or even enter the Purple Mansion stage. Then it will be much easier for you to help me in the future. It's enough to have this intention now, and in fact, you have helped me a lot. Junior sister Hu, you helped me deal with so many shady artifacts. If I did it myself, I might not even be able to find a way. Junior sister Zhao asked her master to help me refine the super quality 3 flowers rejuvenating pill, and she also withstood the tremendous pressure and preserved them. These have helped me a lot. Zhao Mingxia was very happy to be recognized by Lin Changqing, and said to Lin Changqing, Senior Brother Lin, I will work hard to cultivate in the future and strive to be of greater help in the future. Okay, then I'll wait. When junior sister has the Purple Mansion or even the Golden Pill, and becomes my backer, I can walk sideways in the future. Zhao Mingxia couldn't help laughing when she heard what Lin Changqing said so interestingly. At this time, Huyana took out a storage bag from her arms, handed it to Lin Changqing, and said, Brother, those magic weapons have been dealt with according to your wishes. They have all been exchanged for spirit stones. They are all here. Lin Changqing waved his hand quickly and said, Junior sister Hu, don't be in a hurry. I will leave for the family tomorrow because of time, so I entrusted junior sister Chen to ask you for help. I didn't expect you to come here today, so I might as well make it myself. This time I went out, I harvested some magic weapons and a batch of red refined fire copper stones. The magic weapons will be dealt with as before. I mainly want to ask you to come forward and find someone to refine this batch of red refined fire copper stones into red refined crystal copper. If it can be refined into a second-level refining furnace or alchemy furnace, it would be even better. The cost will be deducted from the spirit stones in your hand first. If it is not enough, tell me again. Chapter 241, Alchemy Makes 3 Generations Poor. Hearing that Lin Changqing was looking for her help, Huyana nodded repeatedly and said happily, Brother Gao, this is no problem, just leave it to me. How many of your red refined fire copper stones do you have? As long as there are enough, it can indeed be refined into a second-level refining furnace or an alchemy furnace. In that case, you will be rich, brother. A second-level inferior alchemy furnace with red refined crystal copper as the main material will cost at least 10,000 or 20,000 spirit stones. A second-level middle-grade one will cost about 30,000 or 40,000, and a second-level superior one will be even more expensive, costing about 70,000 or 80,000, which is already about the same price as a magic weapon. And this is because alchemy furnaces are usually relatively small. Even if 34 kinds of spiritual medicines are placed in them, they basically do not need such a large space, so they are usually about half the size of a refining furnace. Therefore, for the same second-level inferior grade, the prices of the two furnaces are about twice as different. That is, the price of a second-level inferior refinery is 30,000 or 40,000 spirit stones. After listening to this, Lin Changqing was a little surprised and said, I didn't expect that a second-level refining furnace or alchemy furnace is so expensive. Alchemy and refining are indeed not affordable for ordinary cultivators, yes. Therefore, in the world of immortal cultivation, there has always been a saying that refining alchemy will make 3 generations poor, and refining equipment will ruin a lifetime. The general meaning is that for an ordinary cultivator family, it will take 3 generations of hard work to train a qualified alchemist. But if you learn to refine equipment, you may never turn over in your life. Because as long as the talent for alchemy is not too bad, you can always get started by refining a pill formula dozens of times. By then, even if the problem is, you can still have a success rate of 10% to 20%, so you won't lose everything. But refining equipment is different. There is only success and failure in refining equipment. There is no third possibility. And there is no such thing as a 10% to 20% success rate, Zhao Mingxia sighed. Hu Yana nodded and continued, of course, you can also choose to use an ordinary second-level alchemy furnace. If the material is not mainly red refining crystal, then 7 or 8,000 spirit stones should be able to buy it. But the same alchemist, using 2 different alchemy furnaces, will have a difference of 1 or 2% in the success rate, and the same is true for refining tools. Hearing the 2 junior sisters say this, Lin Changqing didn't know anything else, but he knew that these red refining fire copper stones in his hand were much more precious than he thought. However, after considering it, Lin Changqing still felt that it was best to continue to hand it over to Hu Yana. He knew nothing about refining tools, let alone how to refine it into red refining crystal. Even if the Lin family could refine it, they would definitely not be able to refine it into an alchemy furnace or a refining furnace. And handing it over to others might be even more unreliable, so it was best to continue to hand it over to Hu Yana. After thinking it over, Lin Changqing took over several storage bags from Chen Ziya and handed them all to Hu Yana. He said, the magic tools and the red copper crystal stones are all here. There should be about 260 cubic meters of crystal stones. You can judge the quality yourself. I don't know how to arrange them. I will leave it to you. Anyway, I trust you. Hu Yana was shocked to hear that there were more than 200 cubic meters. There were so many. Roughly calculated based on 10 cubic meters of red copper. That is 26 parts of red copper, plus some auxiliary materials, which can be used to refine 26 alchemy furnaces or 13 refining furnaces. Of course, there must be so many when everything goes well. This is a large amount of spiritual stones. Lin Changqing actually gave it to her like this. This made her feel that this trust was really heavy. At this time, Zhao Mingxia suddenly asked, Brother Lin, do you have any spiritual medicine for me to refine? Lin Changqing chuckled and said, Junior sister, although I don't have any now, I will definitely have a lot of spiritual medicine in the future. I'll trouble you to help me refine them into pills, don't worry. Zhao Mingxia nodded and remembered what Lin Changqing said. Hu Yana had also finished refining a storage bag at this time and was checking the quality of the guangxi. After taking a rough look, she said to Lin Changqing, Senior Brother Gao, it is preliminarily estimated that 26 to 30 portions of red refined crystal copper can be refined. I will arrange the quantity of the 2 furnaces at that time. Lin Changqing nodded. It is said that everything is handed over to junior sister, you make the decision. But after refining, don't sell it yet, keep it for my shop as the treasure of the town. Hu Yana was a little surprised and said, Senior Brother Gao, are you going to open a shop? Where do you plan to open it? Zhao Mingxia also said happily, Senior Brother Lin, open a shop in Qingyuan City Market. When we are free, we can visit your shop or something, maybe we can bring you some business. Lin Changqing and Chen Ziya smiled at each other, and then chuckled, it has been planned. The shop will be temporarily located in Qingyuan City Market. But I will have time to deal with the opening of the shop after I finish dealing with family affairs. After hearing what Lin Changqing said, the 2 junior sisters were very happy. Zhao Mingxia decided to go to the store more often in the future, and put her things in Lin Changqing's store for consignment. Hu Yana knew where to find Lin Changqing in the future, and she was secretly happy in her heart. It would never be like this time. Lin Changqing suddenly couldn't be found. Moreover, she also wanted to use her connections to see if she could help Lin Changqing find a better location to open a store. But before things were settled, she didn't plan to say it, and prepared to give Lin Changqing a surprise at that time. After finishing the business, everyone started chatting. However, during the period, Chen Ziya asked how they found this place. Hu Yana said that she heard from her master that Chen Ziya and Senior Brother Gao were back, and then she went to find Zhao Mingxia and went to Changsha Peak to find Chen Ziya and Senior Brother Gao. Those who didn't find them asked other senior sisters and junior sisters in Changsha Peak, and finally found this place. Chen Ziya nodded, and didn't bother about the problem. The 4 of them drank tea and chatted, and several hours passed quickly. When it was almost dark, Hu Yana and Zhao Mingxia reluctantly said goodbye and left. Chen Ziya stayed. There were too many people just now. Lin Changqing would leave tomorrow, and she actually had a lot to say to him. But Lin Changqing already knew what she was going to say, so he hugged her in his arms and started to talk to her. In the end, when Chen Ziya went back, she didn't say what she wanted to say. The next morning, after completing the training and reuniting with Chen Ziya, Lin Changqing went to say goodbye to his great-grandmother and Senior Chen Jiai. In the end, It was Senior Chen Jie who took Chen Ziya and sent Lin Changqing to the mountain gate of Qinghai sect. Before leaving, she threw him a storage bag. She told him that there were 100 copies of the first-grade top-grade ice crystals in it, and asked him to learn to be smart and come back to see her alive. After Lin Changqing thanked her, he looked at Chen Ziya deeply, nodded at her, and then flew away. He would not make the parting so sad. He had studied the direction clearly through the jade map last night. He knew where to go and what places he would pass on the way. Anyway, he would not get lost. After leaving the Qinghai sect, Lin Changqing released Chuer, and put on a plain-looking hidden spirit mask. At the great-grandmother's place, he did not wear a hidden spirit mask to show respect, so he showed his true face at Changsha Peak. Now that he has left the Qinghai sect, he must wear a mask. Now he has a lot of such hidden spirit masks, more than a dozen, which are enough for him to use for a long time. At that time, the clan leader used the wind boat to drive, and it took 3 days to get to Qinghai City. If he flew by himself, it might take about 10 days, but he couldn't wait that long. So, he decided to let Chui and Chuer fly higher and try to expand the warning range. Then he asked Liu Yaoqiang to use the wind escape technique to take him back. In this way, they could get back in about 4 to 5 days. Of course, in some crowded places, he had to fly with his sword alone. When there was no one around, he dared to let Liu Yaoqiang take him on the road. Otherwise, he would be exposed and it would be troublesome. However, there was still one thing to do. Chapter 242 Fall. After flying for more than an hour, they finally found a suitable place, a hill several hundred meters high. Lin Changqing found a cave halfway up the mountain and went straight in. It was a few dozen meters to the bottom. After thinking for a while, he went out to the cave entrance again and placed 24 purple crystal scorpions there, letting them be invisible and alert. Then he returned to the innermost part of the cave and communicated with Lin Changqing, asking him to leave a space mark at this place, so that it would be convenient to come here in the future. Then he entered the inner space, and soon the deer surrounded him. Every time he saw them, Lin Changqing was very happy. Especially Lu Xiaoling and Lu Xiaomin, the other 3 color deer were elegant and beautiful, but only these 2 made Lin Changqing feel very cute. After stroking and smoothing their fur, he fed them the Yuling pill, kept Liu Yaoqiang, and let the other 3 color deer play by themselves. Through the contract, he communicated with it and told it that he needed it to be his mount for a period of time. Liu Yaoqiang agreed easily. Then Lin Changqing asked him to go and talk to Lu Xiaoyu and Lu Xiaoling first. Zhao Liaoyu saw that Lin Changqing was finally free, so he said, "The subordinate is here to see the master." Lin Changqing nodded. He thought that he needed to prepare some food for Liu Yaoqiang in advance if he wanted to take him out as a mount. So he told Zhao Liaoyu, "Go and prepare 2 bundles of alfalfa for me. I will take it away later." Zhao Liaoyu agreed and hurried down to harvest the alfalfa. He himself came to the edge of the deep pit and took the piece of top-grade water attribute raw stone that he harvested yesterday out of the storage bag and let it fall straight into the deep pit for Lin Changqing to absorb and digest directly. After a while, he felt a wave of joy in his heart, knowing that Lin Changqing was sharing his happy mood with him. After absorbing this top-grade raw stone, the space should be about 10,000 acres, which is also a small achievement. However, it is still far from the 250,000 mu required for the 4th stage, and we need to continue working hard. Then he came to the foundation building fruit tree and looked at the 11 foundation building fruits hanging on it. After thinking for a while, he picked them all. 10 of them were placed in a jade box, and the remaining 1 was placed in a small jade box. Then he returned to the yard. Now the yard is protected by a magic circle, and the deer will not approach here casually. He released the 10 purple crystal scorpions that had been selected in advance. They were the strongest in the scorpion group. Lin Changqing specially selected them, half of them were male and half were female. The purpose of doing this was to see if they would reproduce after reaching the 2nd stage, or if they had to reach the 3rd stage. First, separate them, and then give each of them a foundation building fruit. As soon as they saw it, they hugged it and started to eat it. Lin Changqing quickly passed a contract and told them not to destroy the fruit core, otherwise he suspected that the fruit core would be eaten by them. After they finished eating, they took the fruit core back as soon as possible and put it in the jade box just now. Then he put on a spiritual light shield, took out the Zuinun heavy water bottle and took out 10 balls of Beihe Zuhan wine, which was enough for foundation building. The 10 little guys immediately became excited and rushed to you, Lin Changqing. It was like this every time, and he was used to it. He forced them not to get excited. It had been arranged, and each one had it. Then he fed them one by one with spiritual wine. Soon, in a short while, all 10 little guys fell into deep sleep, and Lin Changqing took them back to the Spirit Beast bracelet space. He hoped that they would be promoted to the second level and bring him some surprises, but he didn't know when they would wake up. He hoped that they would not disappoint him. Lin Changqing had invested heavily, both foundation building fruit and Zuhanwai. Liu Yaoqiang and Lu Xiao didn't have this treatment. After harvesting a little, he left the yard, summoned Liu Yaoqiang, and put him in the Spirit Beast bracelet, and took over the 2 bundles of alfalfa handed over by Zhao Linyu. After giving Zhao Linyu some instructions and asking her to take care of the space, Lin Changqing withdrew from the inner space. After returning to the cave, Lin Changqing thought for a while, and went to a place far away from the foot of the mountain to collect several storage bags of soil and some large stones. Then he returned to the cave, first filled half of the cave with soil, and pressed the outside with large stones. Finally, he found some plants such as thorny vines, planted them nearby, and performed the spirit rain technique and the induced birth technique. Soon it grew into a dense large area, and the traces of activities were cleaned up again, so that the cave was completely covered. There is a part of the space inside, and the 4th space mark is also here. When Lin Changqing sends him here, he can use the earth escape technique to get out. This place is more than an hour away from the Qingyuan city market, which is just right. After doing all this, he continued on his way. Now this place is still relatively close to the Qingyuan sect. He plans to leave a farther distance and wait until tomorrow to start riding Liu Yaoqiang and using the wind escape technique to travel. In this way, he slept in the open air and traveled for 5 consecutive days with high intensity, and finally saw Jiufeng mountain in the distance. But now the ancestral mountain is surrounded by clouds and mist, more than twice as much as usual, which is obviously the effect of partially opening the 9-bend cloud river formation. Because if the formation is fully opened, Jiufeng mountain should be covered by clouds and mist, and it cannot be seen at all. However, Lin Changqing did not approach rashly, but first put Liu Yaoqiang into the Spirit Beast bracelet. Then he asked Chuyi and Chuer to fly over to conduct a careful reconnaissance. Lin Changqing specially asked Chuyi to open the golden eye to check this area. He must confirm that there is no problem before going over. Fortunately, after a while, Chuyi and Chuer came, and no other cultivators were found. In this way, Lin Changqing was relieved, and he took off the hidden spirit mask on his face and put it back into the storage bag. Revealing his true face was a very necessary move, otherwise he was afraid that he would be attacked, so he flew to the gate of Jiufeng mountain on his sword. When approaching, he took his identity jade card in his hand and activated it by inputting spiritual energy. However, before he could get close, the mist automatically split open, and 2 people walked out. One of them was Lin Changqing's father, and the other was Uncle Ben, who had hunted with him before. Lin Changqing was overjoyed and hurriedly shouted, "Father, Uncle Ben, I'm back, Changqing is back. Your father often talks about you in front of us." Uncle Ben greeted Lin Changqing warmly. His father was also very happy, and the smile on his face could not be concealed. He stretched out his hand and patted his shoulder vigorously. "It's good to be back." "It's good to be back." Lin Changqing laughed twice, then stepped forward and hugged his father vigorously. His father patted his back and continued, "Go home quickly. Your mother and aunt are at home, go back and see them." Lin Changqing knew that he should indeed let them see first, so that they would feel at ease, and quickly agreed. Then he thought about it and summoned Chuyi and Chuer, and then put them into the Spirit Beast bag. The father opened his eyes wide and asked quickly, "Kinger, how come you have 2 golden winged birds?" Lin Changqing said proudly, "Chuyi found a wife outside and brought her back to me. Now it has also signed a contract with me. I named it Chuer." The father nodded and said, "Chuyi is quite smart. Much smarter than Chu and Chu Liu." Then the 3 of them entered the formation. When they got here, Lin Changqing couldn't help asking, "Father, what happened? Who was ambushed and how seriously injured?" Hearing Lin Changqing's question, the smiles on their faces disappeared and they all fell silent. Finally, it was Uncle Ben who spoke. "The one who was ambushed was your 14th uncle Lin Maoxiang. About a month and a half ago, when he was coming back from the market, he was ambushed by 2 foundation building monks on the way. Your 14th uncle fought hard to break through and return to the family to explain his affairs. Not long after, he died. Chapter 243. Second uncle is missing. When Lin Changqing heard that it was 14th uncle who was attacked and that he had died, he felt very sad. It was 14th uncle who had tested his spiritual roots. They had also experienced the beast tied together. They had survived such a dangerous situation. He had never expected that he would die in someone else's attack this time. Moreover, his family had worked hard for decades and saved money to help him build his foundation successfully. Now he had died like this. How could 5th grandfather's family accept this? He wondered how 12th sister Lin Changqing was doing now and whether she could survive. Did 14th uncle say who did it? Any explanation? Lin Changqing asked with a frown. Father shook his head and said, according to him, the fight didn't take long, and the two men covered it up, so he couldn't tell who did it. After leaving behind a few clues and explaining his affairs, he died. Now we can only preliminarily speculate that the people who did it should be the foundation-building cultivators from the other 12 families. At most, we can rule out the possibility that 3 families have alliances and marriages with us, and the remaining 9 families are all suspicious. Lin Changqing nodded and was about to ask what the patriarch was planning. Unexpectedly, his father continued, these things are not your turn to worry about now, go back quickly. Your mother and aunt have been looking forward to your return, and we still have to take turns here, so we won't accompany you back. Lin Changqing had no choice but to say goodbye to his uncle and father first, and then fly directly home. On the way, he saw the spiritual field on Aoyan Peak, but Lin Changqing didn't go there. He still had to go home first, and his mother should be at home now. If she knew he was back and didn't go to see her the first time, she would definitely deal with Lin Changqing. When he reached the main peak, he met many tribesmen along the way. They kept calling him uncles and aunts. This time, many people knew that he was back. He finally arrived at his home. It was quiet inside. His sister must not be at home. He entered the yard and saw his mother coming out. Lin Changqing shouted happily, "Mom! I'm back," and rushed over to hug her. The mother was so happy that she couldn't stop smiling. She stretched out her hands to pinch his arms and shoulders, then touched Lin Changqing's face and said happily, "That's great, my little Kinger is finally back safely. Did you come back alone? It must have been very hard on the road. Later, Mother will make you your favorite 8 treasure chicken soup to nourish you." Lin Changqing listened and nodded happily. "That's great, Mother, please make more. I often want to eat the 8 treasure chicken soup made by Mother when I am outside. This time I want to eat enough. By the way, where are your aunt and sister? Where did they go?" "Of course your aunt is in Bakao Garden now. Your sister should be at your 14th uncle's house, accompanying Changlian." Lin Changqing asked a little surprised. The two of them are 4 or 5 years apart in age. When did they become so close? The mother smiled and said, "Changlian, Changji, Changhao and others often go to Aoyan Peak to play. Since your sister can fly with a sword, she also often goes to Aoyan Peak to play. Aren't they familiar with each other?" Lin Changqing suddenly realized that this was the case, and then asked, "What about Grandpa and second uncle? Your grandpa has been with the clan leader recently. He must be preparing something. Since your 14th uncle died, the whole family is now tight inside and loose outside. In fact, you really shouldn't come back at this time. As for your second uncle, he didn't come back at all. Only your grandpa and your father came back this time. I asked your father, but he didn't say anything. He just asked me not to ask again in the future," Mother said helplessly. Lin Changqing understood a little. No wonder his father kept asking him to come back just now. He must not want Lin Changqing to ask so many questions, so he asked him to go home quickly. "Let's wait and ask father or grandfather in private." Lin Changqing said seriously, "Mom, as a member of the Lin family, I can't just stand by and watch when the family is in trouble. At least I have to do something within my power. And the most important thing is that you are still here, so I must come back. At least I have to come back to protect you." After hearing this, the mother was very pleased. She reached out and tapped Lin Changqing on the head, and said with a smile, "Silly son." Lin Changqing smiled and dealt with it. Now the situation is much better than Lin Changqing imagined. He was prepared to be robbed and killed when he approached the periphery of Jiufeng Mountain. Unexpectedly, everything was calm, which made many of his preparations useless. But it's good this way. Now that he has successfully returned to the family, his heart is more stable. Anyway, He believes that with his strength, the Lin family will definitely have the last laugh. Now that his mother has seen it and his grandfather is with a patriarch, he will go to Baekeo Garden to see his aunt first. He said something to his mother and then ran out, but just as he was out of the door, he turned back. Mom, I forgot to give you the gift. This is a gift I prepared specially for you. You will definitely like it when you see it. After saying this, he chuckled twice with pride. Then he took out the gifts that he had specially prepared 2 days ago, a jade box and a storage bag, and handed them to his mother Su Wenying. Oh. My little Kinger went out for a while and actually knew to prepare a gift for me. Then I want to see what good things it is. Su Wenying was actually very happy to see the gift that her son specially prepared for her. She didn't care whether the gift was expensive or not, she cared about her son's thoughts. When she opened the jade box, she saw a jade slip, a book, and a top-grade magic tool talisman pen. Seeing this, she was already shocked. It turned out to be a top-grade talisman pen. She was only using a top-grade talisman pen now. Then she picked up the book and saw that it was Su Jinggan's talisman essays. This time she was really scared. She didn't care about anything else and immediately picked up the jade slip to check. It was indeed what she thought of, Jinggan talisman. She quickly pulled Lin Changqing and asked, Kinger, what's going on? Where did these two things come from? Why are they here? Seeing her mother's reaction, Lin Changqing was a little puzzled, but still replied, I found the Su Jinggan talisman essays at the street stall square in Dongyangfeng City for only 100 spirit stones. I heard that this essay is there, and basically any talisman master must have one in his hand, so he only spent 100 spirit stones to buy it. The remaining jade slip and talisman pen were all found by me in the storage bag of a robbery cultivator. Because it seemed to match the name of the essay, I put them together directly. All of them are related to talisman making, so they are all given to you as gifts. Is there anything wrong with these things? After hearing what her son said, Su Wenying blinked her eyes, which was really a bit unbelievable. However, he still explained, these two things are the highest inheritance of the Su family's talisman. Su Jinggan founded the Su family hundreds of years ago, and he is my great-grandfather. You also have half of the Su family's blood, so you can be considered his descendant. Lin Changqing was stunned. He didn't expect that these two things would have this connection with their family. It was too coincidental. But he reacted immediately and said to his mother, even so, it proves that these two things are really destined to be with you. There is a will in the dark, otherwise it would not have gone through such a big circle, and finally sent them to you through my hand. It means that God thinks that this inheritance is destined to shine in your hands, so he tried every means to send them to you. Su Wenying couldn't help laughing. She was amused by her son's nonsense, and he even talked about the will of heaven, but thinking about it, there is a little bit of truth. So she said to Lin Changqing, let me take a look first. Don't hand it over to the family scripture pavilion for now, let me keep it first. Lin Changqing nodded and said, it was originally a gift for you, you can arrange it however you want. I won't have any objection. In that storage bag, there are special materials for making talismans, and hundreds of dozen talisman papers, you can see for yourself if they are suitable. I'm going to Baekeo Garden to find my aunt. The mother was still thinking about the two things. After listening to what Lin Changqing said, she said, go. Go. Come back by yourself when the time is almost up, so that I don't have to look for you again. I know. I'll be back in a while. I have a surprise for you later. After that, he laughed, looking very proud. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 244 White Pill. After he left the house, he walked directly towards the direction of Baekeo Garden. This road was so common that even with his eyes closed, Lin Changqing would not go wrong. When he reached the door, he cast a few spells on the forbidden area, and then he went directly into Baekeo Garden. He just saw his aunt performing the pain-inducing spell on a spiritual apricot tree. Lin Changqing shouted happily, "Aunt! I'm back!" Suddenly hearing Lin Changqing's shout, Lin Maoding's hands trembled, and the spell failed. She turned around and glared at Lin Changqing fiercely. "Come back if you want to. What are you yelling about? You did it on purpose, didn't you? You made me fail the spell." Seeing that his aunt had seen through his prank, Lin Changqing couldn't help but laugh triumphantly. Then he was in tragedy. He didn't pay attention for a moment, and his aunt suddenly appeared beside him, twisted his ears directly, and then lifted them up a little. The pain made Lin Changqing give up immediately, and he kept shouting, "Oh! And, I was wrong. I won't dare to do it again. Let me go. I won't let you go. You've been out for so long. Unless you bring me a gift that satisfies me this time, I won't let you go," Aunt said cunningly. There are gifts. I guarantee you will be very satisfied after seeing them. Maybe you will even reward me," Lin Changqing said confidently. Only then did Aunt let go of his ears. "If you can't satisfy me, I will double the punishment." After saying that, she laughed. Lin Changqing hurriedly said, "And, there really is a gift, but we have to wait until everyone is together before we can bring it out, otherwise I will have to explain it several times." "What on earth is it, so mysterious?" Aunt's curiosity was aroused. "It's definitely good stuff. You will be happy after seeing it. But don't ask me now. I will help you finish these tasks first, and then we will go home to eat spiritual food together. You will know when the time comes, okay? This area is all yours. Go to work quickly." Auntie divided an area for Lin Changqing. He was quite familiar with the spiritual plants here and was able to take care of them. After more than 2 hours, they were all finished, and then the two went home together. As soon as she entered the door, a figure rushed in, and Lin Changqing hugged her hurriedly. "Brother, did you miss me? Why didn't you come to see me when you came back? Where is my gift?" The one in her arms was Lin Changqing. I missed, and of course I went to see my mother and aunt first." "Who said you are the youngest in the family, so you are naturally the last one to go? As for the gifts, there are many. Whether you can get them depends on your performance," Lin Changqing deliberately teased her. Then he put her down. Lin Changqing, who was 12 or 13 years old, was already a little girlish. She was already as tall as Lin Changqing's shoulders, and her cultivation had reached the 5th level of key refining. Lin Changqing was very happy to see his sister whom he hadn't seen for more than a year, especially because the little girl had begun to grow up. When she heard that there were many gifts, she immediately tried her best. "Brother, she pulled his hand and acted like a spoiled child, as if she would not stop unless Lin Changqing agreed. Lin Changqing knew that this would happen, and there was nothing he could do. He could only take out the spirit beast bag that he had prepared in advance and hand it to her. When Lin Changqing saw the spirit beast bag, she jumped up directly, and was so happy that she quickly took it. With the spirit beast bag, it goes without saying that there must be a baby beast inside, but no one knows what it is. Regardless of so much, she immediately began to offer sacrifices and refine the beast, while talking to Lin Changqing. "Brother, what spirit beast did you give me? Is it pretty?" Lin Changqing was a little speechless, rolled his eyes at her and said, "Shouldn't you ask if it's powerful? What's the use of beauty?" Lin Changqing ignored him, and soon the spirit beast bag was offered and refined. She directly released the spirit beast inside, and a fluffy and cute little black tiger appeared in front of everyone. Lin Changqing cheered and happily pounced on the little black tiger, but unfortunately the little black tiger ignored her. It ran directly behind Lin Changqing and hid. Only Lin Changqing was familiar with it here, so it ran to his side at the first time. She continued to run over to get close to it, and the little black tiger changed direction again, back and forth several times. In the end, Lin Changqing caught it and put it in Lin Changqing's arms, and it calmed down. "Brother, what spirit beast is this? It's so cute." Lin Changqing stroked the little black tiger and asked happily. "This is a female black tiger cub, a gold-type spirit beast. Its growth limit is very high. You must train it well. It will protect you in the future," Lin Changqing instructed seriously. Lin Changqing nodded and continued to ask, "Brother, you said the upper limit is very high. How high is it?" Lin Changqing glanced at the little black tiger and said lightly, "At least the 3rd level, and you may have mutated, so it should be at least the 4th level." Lin Changqing opened her eyes wide. The 4th level is equivalent to the golden elixir stage. She herself did not dare to say that she would definitely reach it. Now this little guy in her arms can actually grow to that level. It's a bit unbelievable. She couldn't help but say, "Brother, is it really that powerful?" After saying that, she looked forward to his answer. "There is a book Kingayan Mountain Spirit Beast Records in the family's Sutra Pavilion. You can borrow it and read it when you have time. There should be an introduction to this spirit beast on it." After reading it, you will have a general understanding in your mind and know how to train it. Lin Changqing saw that her brother spoke in a serious manner and knew that he was definitely not fooling her. She said to Lin Changqing with a smile, "Brother, you are so good to me. You gave me such a cute little guy. When I build my foundation in the future, I will definitely protect you." Lin Changqing laughed when he heard it. He was still very happy that Lin Changqing knew to protect himself. "Then you work hard, I'll wait for you to protect me." At this time, the mother came out and shouted, "What are you still doing outside? Come in and have a meal." I'm coming. The four of them gathered together to have a meal. Grandpa was at the clan leader's place, and the father was on duty at the mountain gate and couldn't come back for the time being, so it was only a few of them who had a meal. Mother's cooking skills are good, not worse than the spiritual chefs outside. Lin Changqing ate very full and felt that it was better at home. At this time, the aunt looked at him and said, "Xiaoqinger, should I take out my gift?" The mother also said, "Yes, you just said you would give me a surprise. Take it out quickly." The sister also looked at him with wide eyes, and the meaning was also very clear. If there were good things, she would also share a share. Lin Changqing didn't want to spoil their appetite. He took out 2 small jade boxes with soul-sealing talismans that he had prepared in advance from his storage bag. He gave a small jade box to his aunt first, and then gave one to his mother. The two looked at each other, and had a little guess in their hearts. Could it be? Then they directly took off the soul-sealing talisman and opened the box, and immediately smelled a faint fragrance. The fragrance contained a little bit of honey, and inside the jade box was a snow-white pill. The aunt had already opened her eyes wide, and the mother looked almost the same. Both of them couldn't help laughing, although they had never seen the real thing. But for a female cultivators, this thing can be said to be famous and well-known. Even if they haven't seen it, they must have heard of it. It's the second-level top-grade pill, the 3 flowers rejuvenating pill. Pop, pop, the sound of the 2 jade boxes closing. At this time, the smile on the aunt's face could no longer be concealed. She believed that she had guessed 80% to 90%. But it still took the last step to confirm, because this was a top-grade pill, which was a little different from the legendary top-grade pill. She pulled Lin Changqing to her side, hugged his neck, and kissed his forehead like when they were little. She said happily, "Xiaoqinger, the reward you asked for has been given to you. Tell me quickly, is this the 3 flowers rejuvenating pill? Why did it become a top-grade pill?" Chapter 245, Trial by 3 Judges. Lin Changqing's face turned red. He was teased by his aunt. His mother also looked at Lin Changqing expectantly, obviously waiting for his answer. Lin Changqing said with a little pride, "Yes, this is the 3-flower rejuvenating pill." The one who reacted the most this time was his sister Lin Changqing. When she heard the words 3-flower rejuvenating pill, she screamed. Then she ran to Lin Changqing, took his hand, and said to him desperately, "Brother, brother, am I your most beloved sister? Brother, brother." Lin Changqing got goosebumps when he heard this. Looking at his sister with stars in her eyes, he couldn't help asking, "You are such a young girl, what do you want the rejuvenating pill for?" Hearing her brother say this, Lin Changqing acted more coquettishly, and said in a voice that was so sweet that it killed people, "Brother, brother, 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 you don't want to see your own sister grow old. An old sister will not look good." Seeing a little girl of 12 or 13 actually said such words, the 3 of them couldn't help laughing. Seeing his sister trying so hard to act like a spoiled child, Lin Changqing couldn't bear to disappoint her. He would give it to her sooner or later anyway, so he took out a small jade box with a soul-sealing talisman from his storage bag. He brought it to his sister Lin Changqing, and then quickly handed it to his mother, not letting Lin Changqing take it. "This anti-aging pill is yours, but your mother must keep it for you first. You can only take it when you are about 20 years old. Otherwise, if I give it to you, what if you can't help but take it, and you will always be a little girl who never grows up?" Lin Changqing said aggrievedly. "Then let me see it too. At least I can hold it in my hand and enjoy it." "I have no problem, the thing is in my mother's hand, you can go and talk to her yourself." Lin Changqing had no choice but to please her mother. Mother and aunt were so happy that they couldn't stop smiling. Mother urged them, "Xiaoqinger, tell us what's going on." Lin Changqing smiled and introduced, "These are the 3 main ingredients of the anti-aging pill that I found in the Jiang secret realm." Then the junior sister from Qinghai sect asked a 3rd-level alchemist to refine it personally. And a little bit of precious 3rd-level Bohemia royal jelly was added to it, So the pill's grade broke through from the second level upper grade to the second level best grade. After that, Lin Changqing took out a small jade box with a soul-sealing talisman and handed it to his mother. He said, "This one is for father, so that mother's jade-like face will not remain forever, and father will not take the anti-aging pill and become an old man, which will make him unworthy of mother." After hearing what Lin Changqing said, the three of them laughed. The mother thought for a while and said, "It's okay. I will definitely not dislike your father becoming an old man. Keep this one for my future daughter-in-law." Lin Changqing knew this would happen, so he took out 2 identical jade boxes from the storage bag. In front of everyone for a while, he said, "Including my own, everything is ready. You can rest assured this time." The mother nodded and accepted it with confidence. Lin Changqing stared at the jade box in his hand with stars in her eyes. Lin Changqing quickly put them back into the storage bag. The aunt also put the jade box she was playing with back into the storage bag, then reached out and pinched Lin Changqing's face, and said happily, "Thank you for Xiao Kinger's gift. Aunt likes it very much. Now go to the secret room to take it and try the effect to see what is different about the top-grade Sanho rejuvenating pill." Lin Changqing nodded, knowing that if a female cultivator had the rejuvenating pill in her hand, she would definitely not be able to resist and take it at the first time. So he understood his aunt's thoughts, which was why he didn't dare to put the elixir in Lin Changqing's hands. His mother also said, "Tingting, go quickly. I'll go after you come out." His sister also said enviously, "And, come out quickly when you're well, I want to see you in good shape." His aunt nodded happily, stretched out her hand to pinch Lin Changqing's face, and then went into the secret room at home. Now there were only 3 of them left, mother and son, and since they were free anyway, Lin Changqing began to share his experiences and observations with his mother and sister. All kinds of novel experiences made Lin Changqing extremely envious. Unknowingly, more than an hour had passed, and his aunt walked out of the secret room in high spirits. His mother opened her eyes a little wider, with a look of disbelief on her face. The younger sister Lin Changqing screamed directly, and then rushed towards her aunt, shouting, "And, how did you become like this, so beautiful and young?" The mother couldn't help but go over and study her aunt up and down, and finally pinched her skin. "Tingting, you have become several years younger. Could it be that this top-grade anti-aging pill has some effect of restoring your appearance? This is too amazing." The mother's eyes were already sparkling. Lin Changqing also came over to join in the fun and said, "Congratulations, and your jade-like face is always there, and your beauty will last forever." Lin Maoding herself was also very happy. She was curious just now and suddenly wanted to see what changes would happen to her face after taking the anti-aging pill. So in the secret room, she had already used the water realm technique to check it out, and found that she had become several years younger. She couldn't help but be proud of herself for a while. "Sister-in-law, go quickly. You will know after you use it." Mother thought for a while, shook her head and said, "Since the top-grade anti-aging pill has the magical effect of rejuvenating and restoring one's appearance, then I can't take it alone. I'd better wait for your brother to come back and take it with him, lest he think I have been replaced by someone else." Everyone laughed and thought that what the mother said was too vivid. Maybe by then, the father would not believe that the younger mother was his Taoist partner. This is really possible. Then Lin Changqing continued to share with everyone his experiences outside for more than a year, including his relationship with Chen Zilia, and revealed it to his family for the first time. Both mother and aunt were shocked by his news. What they didn't expect was that Lin Changqing had actually run to the woman's house and lived there for half a year. Lin Changqing was also very surprised. She had a sister-in-law now, so would she fall out of favor at home in the future? She was now deeply worried about her future status. Needless to say, Lin Changqing began to accept the joint trial of the 3 judges. He said everything he could say from the first meeting to the final separation outside the mountain gate of Qingayan sect. In the end, it was the aunt who said, "This matter should be discussed with the clan leader and your grandfather as soon as possible, so that they can go to the great-grandmother to ask for marriage as soon as possible." The mother also nodded and said, "Your aunt is right. If your grandfather doesn't come back today, you can go to the clan leader tomorrow. This is no longer just your business. This should be a major event related to the entire Lin family." Lin Changqing took Lin Changqing's hand and asked worriedly, "Brother, my sister-in-law has such a prominent status. When you have a sister-in-law in the future, will I not be your most beloved sister?" Lin Changqing couldn't help laughing when he heard it. Then he reached out and touched her head, trying hard to hold back the smile on his face, and promised with a serious face, "No matter what happens in the future, no matter whether my brother has a Taoist partner or not, you will always be my most beloved sister. And you are so cute, your sister-in-law will definitely like you very much and love you. I can also promise you this." Lin Changqing got Lin Changqing's guarantee, and then she was relieved. Moreover, she had gained a lot today, and she went back to her room with the little black tiger to rest. Lin Changqing went to his grandfather's house again and found that there was no one at home. Grandpa still hadn't come back, knowing that he should still be with the clan leader. He decided to go to the clan leader tomorrow morning, and then he returned to his room, remembering that Chui and Chur were still in the spirit beast bag. He quickly released them all, and through the contract, he especially told Chur that this was the Lin family's clan land, and he must not mess around here, let alone hurt people. Whatever Chui did, it just followed. After getting clear feedback from Chur, Lin Changqing let them go out to play by themselves. Chui grew up here, and with him by Chur's side, Lin Changqing thought there shouldn't be any problems. He had been traveling for so many days in a row, and he was always worried about the big changes at home. Now he finally relaxed at home. He felt a wave of fatigue, and he was going to wait for a while, and after practicing the Thunder Sutra, he would rest. Chapter 246 The Truth. The next morning, after Lin Changqing completed the basic training, he went to his grandfather's place first. There was still no one at home, so Lin Changqing went directly to the place where the clan leader often went into seclusion. When he arrived, Lin Changqing was about to cast a spell to trigger the restriction, but he didn't expect that a crack would appear on it. Then the clan leader's voice came out, "Kinger, come in directly." Lin Changqing hurriedly walked in and saw the three people sitting inside. He quickly opened his mouth to greet them. "Grandson, I meet the clan leader, grandfather, and sixth grandfather." There were all grandfathers inside, so he could only call them non-stop. "Kinger, come here and sit down. When did you come back? Did you complete the task given by your great-grandmother successfully?" the clan leader asked. To the clan leader, "I came back yesterday and the task has been successfully completed. When I handed in the task, I sent Ziya back to Changsha Peak. I was at my great-grandmother's place and knew that something happened to the family, so I rushed back immediately," Lin Changqing answered respectfully. Hearing Lin Changqing say this, the clan leaders and grandfathers nodded in praise. Those who rushed back as soon as they knew something happened to the family were the real good sons of the Lin family. The clan leader also said with a serious face, "It would be great if you could rush back to contribute to the family. Kinger, the spiritual objects you contributed have been handed over to me by your grandfather. They are crucial to the development of the family. The family has also adopted the strategy you contributed, and like the spiritual objects you contributed, it has been listed as the family's top secret, and is currently only known to the three of us. Because of a confidentiality, there is no way to announce your contribution to the clan members, but this is only temporary. I believe that one day, the family school will be able to record all your contributions to the family in the family history, so that every member of the Lin family and every subsequent Lin family cultivator will know your contribution and efforts. The spiritual objects you contributed should have been converted into family contribution points, but the amount is really huge, and there is no way to explain it to the clan members. So the three of us will keep them for you temporarily, and when the time is right, we will return them to you in other forms. Of course, if you want anything, you can also ask me directly. As long as the family or I have it, I can give it to you." Lin Changqing was still very excited after hearing what the clan leader said. After all, he grew up in the Lin family and had a very high recognition of the family. Moreover, he had received the favors of the Lin family and had always wanted to give back to the family. For him, the things he took out were really nothing. He supported the clan leader's decision and knew that keeping it secret from ordinary clan members was the most correct approach. Otherwise, the weak Lin family would suffer. The sneak attack on 14th uncle this time was a lesson learned. As for exchanging spiritual objects for family contribution points, Lin Changqing really didn't care. Even if he was given hundreds of thousands of contribution points, he couldn't exchange for the spiritual objects he needed. It was just a bunch of numbers, so he really didn't care. The clan leader said that returning it in other forms would be more in line with his wishes. "Don't worry, clan leader. I understand. I don't care about those false names. What I did was what a child of the Lin family should do within the scope of his ability. Moreover, I was born here, grew up here, and may be buried here when I die. So Jiufeng Mountain is the root of all of us. What I did was just to give back to the family and make it stronger and more prosperous." Hearing Lin Changqing say this, everyone, including the clan leader, was deeply moved, especially the sixth grandfather, who was so excited that he burst into tears. It was probably Lin Changqing's words that I was born here, grew up here, and was buried here when I died that touched his heart. The sixth grandfather Lin Fangsheng looked at Lin Changqing with satisfaction and tried to restrain his emotions. Then he said to Lin Changqing, "Zio Kinger, you are indeed worthy of being the descendant I look forward to, and you are also the most outstanding descendant of my Lin family. If you need to refine pills in the future, just come to me. Sixth grandpa will give you a discount and only charge you 10% of the fee." Lin Changqing was overjoyed. Other alchemists basically charge 30%. Last time he asked sixth grandpa to refine the lotus heart pill, he only charged 20%. In the future, he will only charge 10%. This is a real discount. The 12 earth heart lotuses in the inner space have all matured, and there are some other spiritual medicines and spiritual plants. If you need them, you can pick them at any time and ask sixth grandpa to refine pills. Lin Changqing hurriedly thanked him. "Thank you, sixth uncle. I won't be polite. With your promise, I will definitely come to you if I need anything in the future." Lin Changqing looked at the clan leader again and continued to ask, "Clan leader, what happened to 14th uncle? Did he say who attacked him? What does the family plan to do now?" The clan leader smiled and said, "Don't worry, this matter shouldn't have been told to you, but it has something to do with you. After we discussed it, we decided to let you know. It is true that your 14th uncle was attacked by 2 foundation building monks and was seriously injured, but he did not die. After our efforts, he has been rescued, but he just needs to rest for a while. It was just that I had an idea at that time and remembered your plan, so after discussing with him, I let him fake his death and get a way to carry out your plan. After all, that plan also needs a leader. And in order to make the effect realistic, only the 3 of us knew about it during the funeral, including your 5th grandpa who didn't tell him. It was because they were worried that he couldn't bear it that your 14th uncle met with him afterwards. Now everyone else, including his family, thought he had died." Lin Changqing heaved a sigh of relief after hearing this. At least his 14th uncle was not dead. They would meet again someday. So is this matter over? It's obvious that someone wants to suppress the Lin family, so they attacked your 14th uncle. How is this possible? We are investigating the foundation building cultivators who might have taken action, and we have ruled out several families. The target has been narrowed down to 4 or 5 families, and then someone will naturally have to bear the thundering blow from the Lin family. The patriarch said with a murderous look on his face. Lin Changqing nodded. Is this right? In this world of immortal cultivation where the strong prey on the weak, you should be tough when you need to be tough, and you should kill when you need to kill. Sometimes you should let others see your strength. He said to the clan leader seriously, "Then I will also participate to avenge 14th uncle and do my part for the family." The clan leader thought for a moment, nodded and said, "Okay. Since you have this intention, someone will naturally notify you when it is confirmed." Lin Changqing quickly responded, and then remembered the main purpose of this visit. Lin Changqing organized his words a little. He then spoke, "Clan leader, grandfather, 6th grandfather, this time my grandson came here because I need to ask all the elders for something. My grandson and my great-grandmother's descendant Chen Ziya have come into contact during this mission and have experienced a lot together. Now the 2 of us are in love with each other, and have already sought the consent of Chen Ziya's parents and family in the Chen family in Tongshan village, and made a promise to grow old together. But Ziya grew up in Qingyuan sect since she was a child, and has always been practicing with her grandmother, Senior Chen Jiai, and her great-grandmother, so now we still need to seek the approval of Senior Chen Jiai and her great-grandmother. Therefore, my grandson would like to ask the clan leader and the 2 grandfathers to come forward and find a suitable time to propose to Senior Chen Jiai and her great-grandmother." The news released by Lin Changqing stunned the 3 grandfathers, and the 3 of them looked at each other. It was the 6th grandfather who reacted first. He laughed and said, "Good boy, you are the first to get the moon because you are close to the water. Not bad, you are really good." Lin Changqing's grandfather also asked, "Kinger, is what you said true? You can't joke about this kind of thing." Lin Changqing nodded seriously and said, "It's absolutely true. I can't joke about this. We really love each other, and I promise to marry her home." Chapter 247 Innate Suppression. At this time, the clan leader also spoke up. The Chen and Lin families have been friends for hundreds of years, but have never really married. If this happens, you will be the first couple. So, this matter is no longer just a matter between the two of you, but also related to the hundreds of years of friendship between the two families. It is now a major event for the Lin family. And I want to tell you officially that if she really comes in the future, you must treat her well. Do you understand? If you treat her badly, it is equivalent to destroying the friendship between the two families. There is no need for the great-grandmother to come forward. I will definitely be the first to deal with you, and then it will be your grandfather's turn. Do you understand? Lin Changqing didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Now he had a little experience of how Lin Changqing felt yesterday. It was really a congenital suppression. What if he really had a quarrel with her that day, and she ran to her grandfather or the clan leader to complain? Then he would have to endure the fate of mixed doubles or even multiple singles. But he believed that Chen Ziya would not do that, and of course, he would not treat her badly. There was no other way, so he could only assure the clan leader, I understand. Don't worry, clan leader. We are in love with each other. I will only love her very much. I will never treat her badly. The clan leader stared at him and said seriously, you kid, remember what you said? Lin Changqing nodded, quickly changed the subject, and continued, by the way, clan leader, there is one more thing. This time when I arrived in Qingyuan City, I felt that it was necessary for the Lin family to open a shop there to sell some of the family's output, and of course, by the way, I could also collect some useful information for the family. Ziya and I have already discussed it. She will ask Senior Chen Jie to see if she can find a suitable shop and hand it over to the Lin family to run. So, I would like to ask the clan leader to agree to let me run this shop for a while. When the time is right, I will return it to the family. In the early stage of the shop, I can't guarantee anything else, but at least I can guarantee that I can earn the rent of the shop. If I can't make money, I will subsidize this part of the loss. In this way, the family will not be at risk of losing money, and even when the shop stabilizes in the future, I can hand over part of the profit to the family. After listening to what Lin Changqing said, the three of them couldn't help but look Lin Changqing up and down. Finally, it was the sixth grandpa who spoke first. Isn't this a compromise solution you two came up with because you didn't want to separate? Lin Changqing embarrassedly said. He laughed dryly a few times, and quickly explained, of course, there are some considerations in this direction, but the main thing is to expand a channel for the family. It's like killing two birds with one stone. Grandpa frowned and said, Kinger, your own spiritual root aptitude is poor, and now you have to divide your attention to manage the shop. Do you really think it's appropriate? Lin Changqing looked at his grandfather and said with a smile, Grandpa, don't worry, I won't be there to guard it by myself. I can take 2 clansmen with me. Or hire 1 or 2 guys over there to come and watch the store for me. I only need to be responsible for the business strategy. And my main focus will still be on cultivation. Don't worry. Grandpa listened, just nodded, and stopped talking. The clan leader finally spoke. When do you plan to start running a shop in Qingyuan City? I will definitely wait until the family affairs are completely resolved before I start to consider it. Otherwise, I will always miss my family when I am away, and my heart will not be at peace. The clan leader just nodded, and did not express his opinion on the spot. After thinking for a while, he said, then let's do it this way. I will discuss it with your grandfather and tell you the result when the time comes. Lin Changqing knew that he should leave, so he quickly asked his grandfather when he would go home. After getting the approximate time, Lin Changqing said goodbye to the clan leader and left. After thinking for a while, he did not go home directly, but adjusted the direction and flew to the family's sutra pavilion. From a distance, he saw the second grandfather reading a book on the reclining chair at the door of the sutra pavilion, with a pot of tea next to him. Second grandfather, I'm here to see you. Lin Changqing came to his side and said with a smile. The second grandfather then sat up, glanced at Lin Changqing, and laughed and scolded, you are back. You haven't been to the sutra library for more than a year. It's rare for you to come to see an old man like me today, but you dare to come empty-handed. You really deserve to be punished. Lin Changqing said with a smile, how is this possible? You must have brought good things with you. After that, he took out a prepared jade box from the storage bag, which contained the green jade tea. He respectfully presented it to the second grandfather. After he took it, Lin Changqing took out a large bundle of books that had been sorted in advance and handed them to the second grandfather. The second grandfather immediately put down the jade box and began to check the contents of the bundle of books. There were dozens of books, and even if the second grandfather just took a general look, it took him a long time. After flipping through all of them, the second grandfather nodded fully, looked at Lin Changqing, and sighed. It seems that you have experienced a lot in the past year. The handwriting inside can be seen to belong to more than a dozen different people. You should be more careful when you go out in the future. If you can avoid taking risks, try not to take risks. Lin Changqing knew that the second grandfather had misunderstood, and hurriedly explained, it's not me who took the initiative to cause trouble, but they are looking for death. I have never done anything bad. The second grandfather nodded and said again, don't be too honest. If you need to take action, you should take action decisively. If you can't beat them, run away quickly. Lin Changqing couldn't help laughing after hearing this. Now he feels that the second grandfather is sometimes quite cute. Afterwards, Lin Changqing sat next to the second grandfather and chatted with him. He roughly shared his experiences over the past year. Of course, he only said the part that could be said. The second grandfather would sometimes interrupt and ask questions, and sometimes give some of his own suggestions. The two chatted for more than 2 hours. After his sister Lin Changqing came out of the sutra library, they returned home together. She came to look for the spiritual book Records of Spiritual Beasts in Qinghai mountain range that Lin Changqing mentioned. After finding it, she read it for a long time. Finally, she found the record of Xuanhu, which basically matched the little tiger girl. She also read some of the author's suggestions carefully and wrote them down. After returning home this time, she was ready to contract Xia Xuanhu. She knew that her brother had many spiritual beasts. So on the way back, she was asking questions about contracts and some methods of cultivating spiritual beasts. Of course, Lin Changqing wanted to teach his sister everything he knew without reservation. He even copied the 2 contracts he bought in Wanbao Pavilion and gave them to her. Originally, he was going to take out the Fire Phoenix Nirvana Sutra and the Heavy Water Control Wave Sutra directly for his sister and mother to practice, but after thinking about it, he thought he should discuss it with his grandfather first. At that time, let his grandfather come forward to give the exercises to his sister and mother, and these 2 exercises also need to be copied and given to his grandfather for safekeeping. Of course, he would keep the original jade slip in the inner space, and would find a place to keep these things. After the 2 returned home, Lin Changqing went back to her room to prepare for the contract. Lin Changqing placed the small 5-element maze in the room, activated it, and entered the inner space. Chapter 248 10,000 Acres of Space. This time he mainly sent Lu Yaoqiang back. When he came back yesterday, it was still kept in Lin Changqing's spiritual beast bracelet. He released Lu Yaoqiang from the spiritual beast bracelet, and before the other deer came over, he stuffed a 100-year-old red fruit into Lu Yaoqiang's mouth as a reward. Then the deer came over and surrounded Lin Changqing, calling yo-yo, non-stop. Fortunately, this sound was still quite elegant and pleasant. He fed all the deer with a nurturing spirit pill, and then stroked their fur, played with them for a while, and then let them play by themselves. He patrolled the space and roughly measured it. The area of the space is now estimated to be about 9,800 acres. It takes a lot of time to walk around. It's a pity that it's quite desolate. Except for the central part where spiritual medicines and spiritual plants are planted, the rest of the place is empty. Now there are almost 100 acres of alfalfa grassland, 50 acres of various flowers, about 50 acres of 100-year-old red fruit trees, and various spiritual plants occupy hundreds of acres. But all added up, the planting area is less than 1,000 acres, which means that about 1/10 of the space is used. The remaining 9/10 are just empty. It's really a pity. The problem is that he doesn't have that many people to plant and manage. The deer can help take care of it, but there is no way to plant it for you. There is also harvesting, which still requires manpower. But what is lacking now is manpower, and it must be people that Lin Changqing likes and can control. This inner space is too important and it really can't afford to lose. So Lin Changqing is very strict about the personnel. After exiting the inner space, it's still early, so he decided to go to Aoyun Peak to take a look. After leaving his yard, he flew straight to Aoyun Peak on his sword, and he was still halfway. Chu Yin Chuer flew over and flew around Lin Changqing. Lin Changqing was excited and kept chasing Chuer at high speed, flying around Aoyun Peak for dozens of times. This was a game that Lin Changqing had played with Chuai before when he was practicing flying. Now, Chuer also had a chance to experience it. One person and two birds played for more than an hour. After they had had enough fun, they landed at the gate of the courtyard of Aoyun Peak. Unexpectedly, they saw Lin Changqing lying alone in the pavilion in the courtyard in a daze. Lin Changqing understood that the death of the 14th uncle had dealt a heavy blow to her. She must not have gotten over it yet. As a partner who grew up together, Lin Changqing felt that he should do something. After thinking about it, he suddenly had an idea and released the remaining more than 100 purple crystal scorpions, letting them run to Lin Changqing in stealth. When they arrived in front of, behind, and around Lin Changqing, and even the stone table where she was lying, they were all covered with purple crystal scorpions. Then Lin Changqing's mind moved, and all the purple crystal scorpions lifted their stealth at the same time, and suddenly appeared in front of Lin Changqing, frightening her and screaming. However, she immediately realized that this should be Lin Changqing's return. Needless to say, the one who played a prank on her must be Lin Changqing, so she shouted angrily, "Lin Changqing! Come out here! Let me show you how I can deal with you, haha. I won't. If you want to deal with me, wait until you catch me." After saying that, she ran to the area where Lin Changqing often played hide-and-seek with a purple crystal scorpion. "If you catch me within half an hour, I'll tell you good news. If you can't catch me, I'll be gone." After saying that, she shouted "search," and rushed into the tree and disappeared. Lin Changqing laughed angrily and shouted in the direction where Lin Changqing disappeared, "If it's not good news, you're really dead." After saying that, she also rushed in and started looking. She was very familiar with this place, and she didn't believe that Lin Changqing could escape her capture. Unfortunately, she ran into Lin Changqing, the cheating king. Now he was sitting on a branch trunk of a very conspicuous tree, wearing that French veil. Looking at Lin Changqing passing under the tree, Lin Changqing laughed secretly. He controlled himself not to make any sound, and then watched Lin Changqing busy for more than half an hour, but in the end, he found nothing. When the time was up, Lin Changqing waited for a while to prevent Lin Changqing from making excuses, and then put the magic gauze back into the storage bag. Then he flew into the air and shouted to Lin Changqing, who was still looking around, "12th sister, the time is up. You didn't catch me. This time you lose. This doesn't count. You must have cheated. There is such a small place. How could you not find it?" Seeing Lin Changqing show up, Lin Changqing was still quite unconvinced. Lin Changqing didn't care about her and flew back to the pavilion in the yard. Seeing that the purple crystal scorpion was still here, they became invisible with a thought, and then rushed to the big rock where they used to bask in the sun. The purple crystal scorpion is a light-attributed spirit beast. They especially like to bask in the sun. At Chen Zigai's house, Lin Changqing often let them out to bask in the sun. Now that they are back to Jiufeng Mountain, they will stay here and come back to find them when they need them. After arranging the amethyst scorpion, Lin Changqing still came over angrily and sat opposite Lin Changqing. Lin Changqing took out the tea set and brewed green jade tea. After staying with Chen Zigai for so long and admiring her tea art for so long, Lin Changqing's own tea art has also improved a little bit. At least, the tea brewed now must be better than before. A cup of green jade tea was brought to Lin Changqing. "Have tea, 12th sister." Lin Changqing took the spiritual tea, took a sip, and found that it was actually a second-level green jade tea. She thought that Lin Changqing had specially brought it out to entertain her, and her mood improved a little. After looking at him, he asked, "Not long after the beast died, the clan leader brought most of the clan members back. I was shocked when I didn't see you in the family square at that time. I thought something happened to you and I was very sad. Later, I asked your sister and found out that you were fine, but the great-grandmother gave you another task. Is the task completed now? When did you come back?" "Of course the task is completed. I didn't even look at who did it. It can be said that it was easy to catch. It was just when I returned to the great-grandmother to hand in the task, I heard from her that something happened at home. I rushed back at the risk of my life and arrived only yesterday. I know about the 14th uncle. You can dole. But I think it's been so long since the incident, you should have moved on. The 14th uncle certainly doesn't want to see you like this now." Lin Changqing shook his head and said, "I always can't help thinking of him. Especially at home or when I'm alone." Lin Changqing nodded, thought about it, and said, "The family is investigating the foundation building cultivators who may have taken action. I believe there should be results soon. The family will definitely avenge the 14th uncle. Lin Changqing nodded and said, I know, the clan leader told me something similar. You just said you had good news to tell me, now you can tell me. The sudden turn of events almost made Lin Changqing blurt out the truth, but fortunately he stopped in time. Lin Changqing laughed a few times and said, you didn't catch me just now, so I can't tell you the good news. But I went out on a mission this time, and I got a good harvest outside. I can give you a gift. Do you have anything you want? Let me know if I have it. If I do, I'll give you one. Chapter 249 Killing Two Birds with One Stone. Hearing this, Lin Changqing's eyes lit up, and he quickly said, really? That's great. My request is very simple, Brother Jiu. Just give me a few purple crystal scorpions. Lin Changqing heard this, and his head was black. It turned out that Lin Changqing was still thief-like, and he had always wanted to take his little baby. He quickly refused and said, this won't work. They have all signed a contract with me, and I can't give them to you. Change one, change another. Find a more reliable request, otherwise I will regret it, Lin Changqing said a little rogue. Why did Lin Changqing hear this? It sounded so familiar. His eyes began to move around, and suddenly he thought of something. He said to Lin Changqing, I remember that last time we were on our way back from the market town, we encountered several robbery cultivators. After we dealt with them, you promised to give me a reward because of my good performance. Until now, you still haven't fulfilled your promise. In addition to what you promised just now, I can make two requests. Am I right? Brother Changqing. Brother 9. You are not trying to cheat, are you? Lin Changqing felt a headache and thought about it carefully. It seemed that this was really the case. He really shot himself in the foot. He could only nod and say, that's right, but when have I ever gone back on my word? I have never cheated, okay. Think about it quickly. Anyway, my abilities are limited, so it won't be too difficult. Lin Changqing smiled like a weasel that had stolen a chicken, and said, Brother Jiu. Then just find me a spirit beast that's as powerful as the amethyst scorpion. Lin Changqing was almost laughing at her, and couldn't help but give her a blank look and said, go away. The amethyst scorpion is a spirit insect, not a spirit beast. What's more, spirit insects and spirit beasts of this level are not easy to find. I can't find one either, so change your request. If you make another request that I can't do, I'll leave. Forget it, you only know how to take my spirit beast, so let me do it. I see that you have reached the peak of the 5th level of key refining now. This thing is my trophy, and it's just right for you to use it at this time. After that, he took out a small jade box from the storage bag and handed it to her. Lin Changqing took it and opened it to take a look. Her eyes widened immediately. There was 100-year-old zoo fruit inside. She was really familiar with this thing. There was a 100-year-old zoo fruit tree in her family. Lin Changqing had seen its fruits since she was a child. It was a pity that after they matured, they were all taken by her grandfather to exchange for family contribution points. She had only taken one fruit since she was a child. She quickly closed the jade box and stuffed it back to Lin Changqing. This is a 100-year-old zoo fruit. It is too precious. I can't take it. Besides, you need it more than me, Brother 9. Lin Changqing chuckled and said, this thing is not as precious as you said. This time, we just seized a large box with 24 pieces. Everyone in the family used them. I used more, you see. After saying that, in front of Lin Changqing, he temporarily stopped the operation of the hidden spirit art, revealing his great perfection of key refining. He only showed it for a moment and then hid it again. While Lin Changqing was stunned, he stuffed the thing back into her hand. Lin Changqing was really surprised. More than a year ago, Lin Changqing was only at the 6th level of key refining, but now he has reached the great perfection of key refining. How many 100-year-old zoo fruits did he eat? Did he lose his foundation? Lin Changqing couldn't help asking, you have reached the great perfection of key refining in more than a year. Aren't you afraid that it will affect your foundation? Lin Changqing nodded and said, I have paid attention to it, and my practice method also has a strong consolidation effect on the foundation. Don't worry. I know it. Lin Changqing accepted the gift from Lin Changqing with confidence, and after accepting Lin Changqing's gift, he was obviously happier, not as depressed as before. In fact, Lin Changqing himself also had his own selfish thoughts. He himself had 5 spiritual roots, and now he had reached the great perfection of key refining. It was even possible that he would advance to the foundation establishment stage soon. This required a reasonable explanation, and now was the right time. It was just right to borrow Lin Changqing's mouth to let everyone know that his cultivation was built up by taking 100-year-old zoo fruits. With this as a foundation, when he advances to the foundation building stage in the future, no one will feel too abrupt. Lin Changqing solemnly put the small jade box back into the storage bag, and then thanked Lin Changqing with a smile. Thank you for the gift, Brother Jiu. This 100-year-old zoo fruit is really the most suitable for me. Do you have any more? Give me another one. I won't refuse. Lin Changqing laughed and scolded, stay away. This is the last one. You still want another one? If I didn't see you unhappy, I wouldn't give it to you. Lin Changqing didn't mind Lin Changqing asking her to stay away. They had been friends since childhood and usually talked like this. There was nothing to worry about. Whatever they said was fine. Then I'll save the remaining request first. I'll come to you when I think about it later. But at least it has to be of the grade of the 100-year-old zoo fruit, Lin Changqing said proudly. You wish for it, but I have to have it. How about I give you some green jade tea as a payment for another request? Lin Changqing chuckled after hearing this. Brother Jiu, do you think I'm that stupid? If I want to drink green jade tea, why don't I just go to your place? You want to pay for another request of mine, you're wishful thinking. After saying that, she couldn't help laughing again. Seeing that Lin Changqing had returned to her usual self, Lin Changqing was relieved a little, and then the two began to drink tea and chat. Mainly Lin Changqing asked about some things outside. It can be seen that Lin Changqing is very yearning for the outside world, so Lin Changqing told her about his experiences of encountering robber cultivators several times. Of course, things that are not convenient to say are definitely avoided. Let her know the dangers outside, in order to dispel her yearning for the outside world, and for better results. Lin Changqing also took out the example of Qi's Hanthi and told her. Of course, this story must have been completely stripped of itself and processed later, so that Lin Changqing could truly feel that people outside were unpredictable, which effectively hide her restless heart. Now she is only at the 5th level of Qi refining. Even after taking the zoo fruit, she is only at the 6th level of Qi refining. She is also a female cultivator, and such people are most likely to be targeted, so Lin Changqing definitely does not support her. On the other hand, Lin Changqing's mood has improved a lot with the help of her friend Lin Changqing. They chatted until it was almost dark before they left Aoyan Peak together and went home. Originally, Lin Changqing wanted to see the growth of the spiritual field, and whether the first and second grades and their nests were ready. Now that Lin Changqing has delayed him, he can't see it anymore and can only wait until next time. When he returned home, his sister Lin Changqing was playing with a little black tiger in the yard. Lin Changqing felt that his sister, although well protected by the clan leader, must have lost a lot of fun with her peers, so he specially gave her such a spiritual beast, hoping that she would be happier. Brother, look, I've signed the contract. From now on, it will be called Hu Niu. I must train it well and make it a 3rd level or even 4th level existence, so that it can protect you in the future, Lin Changqing said proudly. Lin Changqing couldn't help laughing after hearing this and said to his sister, great, then I will rely on you to protect me in the future. You must work hard. Of course, he couldn't discourage his sister's kindness, so he took out a few bottles of Yuling pills from his storage bag and gave them to her as encouragement. Chapter 250 Humanoid Monster. Accompanying his sister in the yard, training the little tiger girl, Lin Changqing felt that this was quite good. Playing and training at the same time would also make his sister less bored. However, not long after, his mother came out to call them in for dinner. It happened that his father also came back today. Lin Changqing planned to wait for a while. After finishing the spiritual meal, he would ask his father privately about the specific whereabouts of his second uncle. Unexpectedly, just after eating, his mother couldn't wait to pull his father away, and the two of them went into the training room together. Lin Changqing couldn't help laughing. His mother was holding the top-grade Sanho rejuvenating pill in her hand. It was not easy for her to wait patiently for his father to come back and take it together. He chatted with his aunt, sister, and the three of them in the hall, and waited for his parents to come out. About an hour later, his mother pulled his father out together. His sister was the first to cheer, and then rushed up to hug his mother. Dad, Mom, you have become younger, and you will never get older in the future. That's great. That's great. The sister danced with joy like a crazy girl. The aunt also happily stepped forward to congratulate. Congratulations, brother and sister-in-law, you will stay young and beautiful forever. The mother took the aunt's hand and said with a smile, congratulations, congratulations, you will stay young and beautiful too. Lin Changqing of course also came up to join in the fun and said to his mother, Mom, don't go out with your sister in the future, otherwise people will think you are sisters. The mother was so happy now, and when she heard Lin Changqing say this, she laughed so hard that her mouth couldn't close. She hit Lin Changqing lightly twice and said, you only know how to talk nonsense to make me happy. At this time, the father's expression was completely opposite to the mother's. Although his face became younger, he now looked worried. Lin Changqing couldn't help asking, Dad, what's wrong with you? Shouldn't you be happy that you don't age? Why do you look unhappy now? His father sighed and said, I thought taking the anti-aging pill would at most keep your face unchanged. I didn't expect that this is a top-grade anti-aging pill that can actually make people younger. How can I go out like this? Everyone present couldn't help laughing. Lin Changqing also smiled and comforted, it's okay. Others can't even ask for it. Just don't worry about it. Others will get used to it in 2 days, that's all we can do now. What else can we do? His father sighed. While his mother, aunt and the other three were chattering non-stop, Lin Changqing pulled his father into his room and asked straight to the point, Dad, my second uncle didn't come back with you this time. Where did he go? Hearing this, his father glared at him and said, didn't your mother tell you? This is a family secret. Why are you, a little cultivator in the key refining stage, asking around? Lin Changqing was speechless. He was the one who proposed the plan, but in the end, he had no right to know. Lin Changqing couldn't help arguing, isn't it my responsibility to inquire about the whereabouts of my second uncle? I can't just ignore him if he disappears, can I? His father said impatiently, your second uncle is doing well. Don't ask around anymore. Be careful or the clan leader will beat you up. Since his father didn't want to tell him the whereabouts of his second uncle, Lin Changqing didn't force it. At worst, he could just ask his grandfather directly. Then he asked again, Dad, how is your practice of the Thunder Sutra going? How many Thunder acupoints have you opened now? 2 have been opened so far, and I'm still working on the 3rd one. Why have you only opened 2? How many days does it take you to open 1? Lin Changqing asked with a frown. 2 acupoints are not a small number. It takes me about 2 months to open 1. And the acupoints in the foundation building stage are much more than those in the key refining stage, his father explained. Lin Changqing nodded and said, I have opened 14 Thunder acupoints now. After opening the 12th acupoint, my strength and the toughness of my body and flesh have been greatly enhanced. I can lift a stone weighing 1,500 to 600 kilograms. Now I should be considered to have started to practice body refining. After hearing Lin Changqing's words, his father opened his eyes wide. It actually has a body refining effect. I opened 2 acupoints and didn't feel anything. It turns out that you have to open 12 acupoints. Then I know, I will intensify my practice in the future. This method is suitable for your second uncle. He is tall and wanted to find a body refining method before. Unfortunately, your grandfather disagreed at that time. This time he got his wish. If he knew that there was really an effect of body refining, he would definitely practice the most diligently. Lin Changqing nodded, my second uncle actually likes body refining. I didn't know it before. Then this method is indeed the most suitable for him to practice, and ours is internal body refining. It is not a kind of external body refining that will make yourself big and strong, like a humanoid monster. Female cultivators will not develop a muscular body if they practice, so it is most suitable for mothers and aunts at home. I have opened 12 acupoints, which is considered the entry level of body refining. I estimate that when I open 36 acupoints, it should be equivalent to the first level body refining perfection. I just don't know if I should be able to condense the blood and ki elixir after opening all 365 acupoints in the body. Father thought for a while and said, this is still too far away from us now, don't think about it for now, let's talk about it later. Lin Changqing nodded and continued, it is estimated that the difficulty of opening acupoints will increase exponentially with each promotion to higher level. It is unknown how long it will take to open all 365 acupoints in the body. By the way, Father, what arrangements does the family have for you? Will there be a foundation building celebration for you? After speaking, Lin Changqing looked at his father with a little expectation. After hearing this, the father shook his head and said, After discussing with your grandfather, the clan leader decided to let me, like your aunt, be the family's trump card and not announce it to the outside world for the time being. Didn't you see that I am only showing the cultivation level of key refining great perfection to the outside world now? Lin Changqing nodded. Although he had guessed it a long time ago, he was still a little disappointed. However, thinking of the crisis facing the family now, Lin Changqing also felt that the decision made by the clan leader and grandfather was still correct. Lin Changqing was about to ask his father if there were enough thunder-attributed talismans for cultivation, but he didn't expect his sister Lin Changqing to find him and tell them that Grandpa was back. The father and son hurried to the hall, greeted Grandpa, and the whole family sat together, knowing that Grandpa must have something to say. Grandpa glanced around before speaking. Okay, except for Maobin who has a mission, everyone in the family is here. Especially Kinger. I'm very happy that she can come back in time at this special time, Lin Changqing said with a smile. I went to my great-grandmother to hand in the mission, and I learned from her that something happened at home. I was so anxious at the time that I didn't have the mood to stay outside. I couldn't wait to rush back home. Fortunately, the situation at home was much better than I expected. Grandpa nodded with relief and continued, regarding the marriage of Kinger and Zilaya, the clan leader and I have discussed it. After this incident, the clan leader and your sixth grandfather will come forward to propose to your great-grandmother at Changsha Peak, and was the first to react. Oh, little Kinger is about to have a Taoist partner. Congratulations, brother and sister-in-law, you will have a daughter-in-law soon. Mother was so happy that she couldn't close her mouth. Congratulations, congratulations, both of you have added a new member to the family, and there is one more person who calls you aunt. Only his father looked confused. His mother and aunt quickly told him about Lin Changqing and Chen Ziya. He was stunned. He already had a daughter-in-law. If Lin Changqing and the others were fast enough, maybe in 2 years, he would be able to become a grandfather. Only his sister Lin Changqing pouted, obviously worried about her position in the family. Seeing her like this, Lin Changqing roughly guessed what she was thinking. He chuckled and reached out to touch her head. Grandpa gave them some time to digest this information, and then continued, since Kinger is going to have a Taoist partner, some things need to be prepared. And it's not appropriate for him to continue living with you. Now you should consider letting him find a place and build a yard. You should discuss where to build it. Lin Changqing himself hadn't thought about this problem. Now that his grandfather mentioned it, he realized that it was indeed a bit inappropriate for him to live with his parents. As soon as his grandfather raised this question, his mother and aunt were already discussing which place was suitable. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.